What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Swindoll. I'm going to be reviewing all the videos you guys submitted last week. And just a disclaimer, we are putting these videos on 1.5 times speed. That way we can get through these faster and we can preserve all of our sanity, including mine. So let's start it off here. First off, I got to say that I had to adjust the title of this highlight video so that it could fit our formatting. And I also had to put the correct thumbnail for the video, as you can see down here. Now, some people were wondering why we put a score of the other team in this highlight video. And one is because I asked the person who made it to do that. And the reason I did that is because if you watch highlight videos like on the NFL YouTube channel, they include touchdowns of both teams, important plays from both teams, because the highlight reel functions as a recap of sorts for the match. Right there, I would not include a PAT unless it is missed in a highlight video, because it's kind of a given. So it's really only significant if someone misses a PAT to include it in a highlight video. Another thing I like about this highlight video is that it includes plays that aren't just touchdowns. Like on one of those previous plays, it included a sack, a tackle for loss in the backfield. It includes big plays or big catches that were made. And you get a real sense of all the big moments from the game. So you can tell that whoever made this video is knowledgeable of the game. This is pretty crazy. This is a 42-yard field goal, which, fun fact, was the longest field goal I ever made as a FCS kicker. It was the longest we ever attempted, but that's really impressive from a high schooler to make a 42-yarder. I like that each of the plays start right before the snap. There's not much downtime before or after plays, which that's like the whole point of a highlight video, to get rid of the downtime between the big moments. I'm not sure why this part here has no sound at all. I didn't mute the sound. The video just doesn't have sound for some reason at this part. That was a huge interception. Patriots were trying to go up 14-10 at halftime and get the ball to start the second half, I think. But Somerset prevented it there with a pick. Huge gain. Overall, in terms of the video editing, this is a really well put together highlight video. There's something about how our huddle camera is adjusted, that it's kind of dark, which that's not the fault of the person who edited the video, just the way it was recorded. But there are ways in Premiere where you can make the exposure brighter. So that was actually a missed PAT, and so that's notable to include it. There was a lot of downtime before the kick, though, so I would cut that down next time. Wow, that should have been like a 6-yard gain. Cut it back and it became like 40-yard gain. Here the PAT is made. Again, no need to include that in a highlight video unless it's missed. Wow, that's a huge run. How did he get through there? Lots of Patriots touched him. This is going to be here. Again, no need to include PATs. Wow, that's a huge turnover right at the end of the game. And they had a great kicker, and they were only 3 points away.
Welcome to our very first podcast. This is
Okay, we're on to the next one.
This is inside information. This podcast is going to be about The Shining. It's a great movie. I've watched it for years. How
For
about you?
the for the record, I had to adjust the title for this video as well to fit our podcast formatting.
It's a very good movie in its own right, and it's just a pure classic.
I've already expressed to the people who made this video, I am
But,
a huge, whatever not a fan is, I'm an anti-fan of their thumbnail.
The movie, The Shining.
The Shining?
Also because I was such a big fan of Stephen King at that time,
Yeah,
I was
great
interested
author.
in seeing how the movie would play out according to the book.
Oh, you've read the book.
I've read the book as well.
Oh, I've never gone around to that. How would you say the book compares to the movie?
Now, for most of these videos, I tried to not watch them beforehand.
It made
This was one that I watched a bit of before, and what I like about this
The Shining. Isn't it such
this podcast show is that they both came prepared and they're both knowledgeable of the topic that they're discussing. So there's a lot of naturalness to the conversation, but it's not just rambling. It's educated discussion of the topic. That part's pretty funny. He says his dad was messed up for showing him horror movies since he was a kid.
How did the movie make you feel?
Audio quality is good. However, there's one going through each channel. So one of the hosts is going through my left ear only, and one of the hosts is going through my right ear only. That's something that can be fixed very easily in Premiere.
It's kind of scary, you know.
It made you feel like you were really reliving the scene.
Yeah.
In a way.
And you might have not have heard it because I was talking over it, but they actually have a prepared agenda for the show of the topics they're going to discuss, the questions that they're going to ask each other. So what's good about this show is that they don't stay too long on the same topic or the same question, and they keep it going.
Yeah, that's my favorite part, the slow build. Because if they had gotten too much into the movie, in my opinion, it would have been too much all at once. It wouldn't have been as good as it is right now.
Yeah, and if they adapted the book like a little too much, like the ending in the book is different from the movie, I think it wouldn't have worked as well. And like, and there's a.
I would tilt the camera down a little bit. There's a little too much room,
and it's based more off the book. It's fine for what
like
it is,
between
but
their heads and the top of the frame. I would tilt it down just a little
What
bit.
did you think about the music and the camera work?
Ooh, the music and the camera work, I feel, are what made it, are pretty much a big part of what made it the movie that it is right now.
Yeah, of course. It has a great soundtrack. The old song from the 30s, I believe, Midnight Stars.
Now,
in the movie. I used to listen to it
something that could make this a better YouTube video experience is putting chapters by putting the timestamps. That way people, they can see the topics you cover in the episode and they can skip to parts that they like, because maybe some people won't watch all 15 minutes of it, but they'll watch one or some of the segments that you guys cover, and maybe they'll end up liking the show because they can see more of the topics that you cover within each episode.
You either get it or you don't type of movie.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to watch it many times to really appreciate the art that Stanley Kubrick, right? That what he did. You have to really appreciate his directing.
So do. What do you think about the characters?
The characters, Jack Torrance, the main antagonist, he was a great character. I believe he was well written. He was really menacing. Jack Nicholson played him in the movie 1980. I think his performance was
One thing I noticed is that
I believe he played the character well in the movie adaptation.
you can hear some of the noises, like the breathing and stuff, which that's just natural. That's what everyone does if there's a mic that close to their face. But there are settings you can adjust to take out those little noises.
Yeah, I heard that as well, and I saw behind the scenes.
One of the main ways you do it is with the noise gate, which I can show you how to do on these recording software programs we use.
It makes you think that to yourself. But yeah, I know. But yeah, she was good in the movie. I liked her performance. And Danny, the little kid, I believe for a little kid, his performance was astronomical. It was like out of his world. It was like how do you act so good at like how old was he?
Such a young age.
Yeah, he was like under the age of 12.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like it's so hard to do that. And I heard the cast treated him really well. Stanley Kubrick was like always like being nice to him and stuff.
Definitely a plus for this podcast is that both people are passionate about what they're talking about. You can tell they really are interested in what they're talking about, and I'm sure they could talk for hours about the stuff that they like.
Yeah, of course.
So that really is one of the things that should be a non-negotiable about podcasts. You have to have people who are passionate about what they're talking about.
He was a good actor. He really gave off that father figure that Danny needed in his life because his father abused him, you know, and it made me think, wow, he should be like his dad, in a way, because they really every scene they were in together were really good, especially when they were like eating ice cream together. They were talking like telepathically. Well, Danny was, I think, and it was pretty good. I think
It was pretty good.
his character.
Did you ever feel scared while watching the film?
Scared? Yes, many times. I still do. It's in my opinion one of the scariest movies because of just the ambiance and just the way it makes you feel. It makes you feel uneasy. Like, wow, what? It's just I can't explain it personally. What do you? Does it make
It's
you feel
scary. That's the explanation.
Actually, for me, not many movies scare me, surprisingly.
Yeah, me neither. It's rare for me
It
usually.
is rare for me. So The Shining didn't really scare me per se, but it did impact me.
Yeah.
Like I found it a really good and well-made movie, and I can see how it would scare some people with sort of the music as well,
Yeah.
sort of darting in and
Yes, of course.
good scene.
Yeah, and the location itself I think was great.
If this podcast is going to be
I believe
like,
it is
let's
really
talk
well.
about a
Stuff,
movie
I think it was
each
a decent location
episode,
for what they're trying to do.
uh,
Maze was
I'm
great.
definitely along for the
It was
ride
a good
here.
location, and I
So
thought it was good. Anyway,
yeah,
what
if this
was
is going to
your
be a
favorite scene?
regular thing, I'm really
My favorite scene. That's a very
looking
good
forward
question.
Yep.
to where this podcast goes.
I don't know if I have a favorite scene actually. Maybe it was the hedge maze, as you said,
The hedge maze.
when Jack was pretty much chasing his son
Yeah.
during the whole scene.
Yeah, that was scary. I
That was
remember that.
Shout out to this podcast being the only one that has
I don't know if I
both of
can
the
actually pick
hosts
out one
on
specific scene to
camera.
say It was better than the rest.
Yeah, of course.
It was-
So
it was
props to
all
them.
really good.
The scene I really liked.
It
was
works
when
as a
he
video
goes to
and
the
audio
ballroom,
podcast.
And then Grady, that's the guy. He spills the orange juice on him, and he takes him to the bathroom. And then he convinces Jack Torrance to kill his family. And I thought that was an excellent scene. And yeah, it
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was his
it made me
snappy
like I
tooth
remember
fight.
that scene really well. So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
In your opinion, should they remake the movie?
No.
No.
Or at least not anytime soon, because it's just such a good, it's still so iconic. It's not like one of those movies that
Anytime
like,
soon.
iconic
When did it come
nobody,
out?
like watches anymore, but it's like people still watch it all the time.
Like the
It's
70s?
an icon. It's a classic. It just shouldn't be remade.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm pretty sure it was like some sort of sequel to
It
the
was
movie.
a sequel.
Yeah, it was a sequel, right? Yeah, I think that was enough,
I
at
think-
least for now.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, was that the
was a
sequel?
both in the book and in the movies?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unlike The
It
Shining,
came out with the guy who
Sleep
plays
was actually
Obi-Wan,
that
Ewan
Stephen King
McGregor.
approved of.
Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
think about that?
I personally did not watch Doctor Sleep. I never got around to it. But usually when Stephen King approves a movie, I heard it's like not, in my opinion, it's not the best movie. I mean, it could have been a good movie. I heard it was good, but I never watched. So I have no opinion. on
That's
that
kind
at
of funny
the moment.
when
Anyway, did you think the book
when the
was
original
better
author
or was
approves a
the
movie,
better
it's not a
movie
good
or
sign.
is the movie better, vice versa?
I love the book.
You
I
love the
want to say, but I also love the movie. I don't think that one could be without the other, obviously.
Yeah, of
but
course.
the movie helps you visualize it more than the book does.
Yeah,
As descriptive as Stephen King is
Yeah.
in his writing in any kind of literature that he's made,
of course.
I feel like The Shining really helped you.
Yeah, I'll just say it
see
again.
how
It's
the movie
it's
could
really
play out.
it's
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, I believe.
really
that
a good
was
experience to
well.
listen to two people who
Not
know what they're
really,
talking about
accurately necessarily, but it was-
just
it was good for a movie,
discuss
in my opinion.
a topic with a lot of
What aspects
different
of the movie
things,
can make it so great?
to
Like,
talk
what really stood out
about.
to you?
and
It
that's
really stood out
definitely
to me
going
the
on
way
here in this
Jack
podcast.
Nicholson actually portrays
Yeah.
his character slowly moving onto the brink of insanity.
Insanity, exactly. I thought the same thing. It was really good. He acted really well, Nicholson, and the typewriting.
I would definitely re-export this video with the audio fixed, that it goes through both channels, because it's when you're listening on headphones, it's really uncomfortable to have one thing going through one ear, only one ear the whole time.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Would you consider this Stanley Kubrick's best work? Now,
Stanley
moving
Kubrick's
on to the director?
It's definitely up there with 2001: A Space Odyssey or Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey. It's up there. and
Space
in my
Oddity.
opinion, it is his best work.
Shout out to
But,
David Bowie.
Some might argue it's not, but in my opinion, it is.
Yeah, many people believe 2001: Space Odyssey is actually one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
A lot of people say that. So, and I've seen a few clips of it, but I've never watched the full movie entirely, so I don't have an opinion on that either. But based
Hey,
on The Shining,
maybe
I'm
we should
sure-
watch
I'm
it.
sure he has works
Great
that are
works
like
that
yeah,
are
that
up
like
there
lead up
too.
to the movie. Is there anything you would change about the movie itself? Like anything?
What I would change?
Yeah.
I don't believe so, actually.
Mhm.
I really like the way.
I think if I could change one thing, it's the background of this podcast. I know it's the media room, and this is just straight up our storage closet. But,
Yeah, me neither.
it's not the best background, let's be honest.
I kind of wish that didn't happen because that didn't happen in the book, but it happened in the movie, and it made me really sad. I was like, no, he died.
And like I said, I would tilt it down below this light.
And overall, what would you rate this movie? On a
Oh,
scale of 1
there
to
it is,
10?
my mouse.
I'd rate it a good a 10 means perfect, so a 9. I think it's up there. It's not perfect, nothing is perfect, but
One thing I forgot to say at the beginning, there was a song that played at the beginning.
9.5, that type of area.
Yeah, that's a
Not
good
sure
rating.
if we have permission to use that, so
Let's see.
I don't think it got
Stephen
flagged on
King
YouTube.
is right to criticize
But,
movies,
yeah,
like,
just
the movie's great, okay,
make sure if you're
but
using other
it's kind of
people's
like-
stuff
it's like
that
not all
it's
that
not a
good.
problem in that way.
I understand why he's criticizing. It's his work. It's what he wrote.
Yeah.
So I'd understand why he'd be criticizing it and thinking, this is not what I imagined. This is not what I envisioned.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
But I think that if he thinks about it in the grand scheme of things, that movie really helped popularize him as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a lot of his work was adapted to movies, but The Shining really helped his popularity in the books and stuff. But yeah, overall, I'd say great, both the book and the movie. Stephen King's a great author. Stanley Kubrick's a great director, and yeah, that's all I gotta say for that. Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Alex?
No, not really anything else.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to Inside Edition's first podcast. We appreciate
Inside Edition.
Tune in next week for our next topic of discussion. We're still deciding on it, but it could be what, Forrest Gump maybe.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I think Forrest Gump. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Okay. 12-second Theology.
Welcome, Patriots. This is FCS Media. My name is George Perez, and today I'm going to be hosting the first 12-second
Man,
Theology
this is
bit.
coming through
Obviously, this is episode 1, and the rules are
loud
simple.
and clear.
I'll ask a question about the Bible or theology, and then you will have 12 seconds to choose an answer
Let me turn it down a little.
before the answer is revealed. This week's topic is Genesis, so let us begin. Or should I say, let there be light? Question 1. Who was the third son of Adam and Eve? Was it Simon, Seth, Samson, or Sid?
Okay. I really like this show idea, by the way. Just gotta say that.
The answer is Seth. Question 2. What is the
Sid
name
it-
of Noah's father? Is it Laban, Methuselah,
I gotta say,
Lamechek, or
on
Noah?
these later clips, the audio is way better than right at the beginning. So I don't know why, but whatever
The answer
thing
is
you did for the
Lamechek.
audio
Question 3.
later in this
Who was the
video
first
should have been
son
what
of
it was
Levi?
from the start.
Is it Simon, Reuben, Judea, or Zebulun?
Another issue that's been noted is that a lot of the pronunciations of these names
The
were
answer
wrong.
is Reuben.
And if you're going to be a
Question
game
4.
show host, you
Who
definitely
was
have
the
to
brother of
sound like you
Jacob?
know what you're talking
Is it
about.
Enoch, Ezra, Edom, or Esu?
Esau. There was almost a mispronunciation in in every question.
The answer is Esu.
That's really one of the few blemishes on the video I would put. Other than that, I thought it was great.
11, 12, 7, or 10?
Gotta get rid of these black bars from where the camera is.
The
Doesn't
answer
look that
is
good in my
11.
opinion.
Question 6. Who was the wife of Isaac?
And
Is it Rachel?
I also
Rahab,
already talked about
Ruth,
this with
or
the
Rebecca?
person who made the video, but I'm not a fan of using default fonts in the program you're using. So I would use branded
The answer
FCS
is
font,
Rebecca. Extra question.
which you got to look in the
What is the shortest
branded,
verse in
the
Bible?
FCS brand book
Is
to
it
see what our branded
John
fonts are.
11:35, 1 Thessalonians 5:16, Luke 17:32, or is Exodus 20:13? The answer
I
is
like-
John 11.
I like that the video had a theme
Question
of
7.
let's go
How many
over
years did Jacob
Genesis.
work for Laban? Was it 14, 17, 21, or
And I mean there's 66 books in the Bible. So
The answer
there's plenty of
is
episodes that
21.
you can do
Alright,
with
that's all for
with
this
this
week.
format.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to FCS Media and have a blessed week, y'all.
Psalm 104 actually is a
Next question.
goated
What is
chapter.
the shortest verse in the Bible? Is it 1 John? I'm sorry, bro. There was a 1 in front of the John. That's crazy.
You also when you're mentioning a psalm, it's singular. Psalm 104, not Psalms 104. Hopefully it's spelled wrong here in the corner. Audio is very quiet. It's at 100%. Can barely hear anything.
Okay, listen. You have eyes for a reason. There's a white line. It's not a suggestion, people. There's a white line. And also, you park on top of a box. Use recycling.
That's called littering.
Hold on. Is that a cat?
No way.
That's a cat.
I'm not sure parking on top of a box is called littering.
You almost got it.
On top of cats. We cannot have that at this school. Do better.
F minus.
The camera work is a little all over the place. I know it's sped up,
Okay? You might be him. Okay?
but still,
What do you think about his parking?
sometimes it's moving away from the thing that the guy is talking about.
Parking does say no parking at any time.
And no policía. We need a policía.
It's policia, not polacia.
And look at this. You got a cooler for what? Instead of drinking beers, start focusing on your parking. It might be a cooler. You never know. My fault. He got 2 coolers. Anyway, honestly, I give this one like a G. It's like under the F. So yeah.
D minus.
But you know, I'll give it an F minus only because it does have hand sanitizer.
And it also has, you know, his own water just to stay hydrated.
It is kind of ironic that it's parked right next to the sign that says no parking anytime.
What's up, y'all? We just landed on this beautiful car and with my boy. What's your name, boy?
John Paul, Edley.
John Paul. John Paul. We got
See,
a
like,
great
why is the
service.
camera moving to the left?
And right now we just found
Why is it moving to the left
exasperating.
when the car's to the right?
So you go to route 4. Let's just start right here. go on grass. You messing up your tires. What are we doing? What are we doing? Look at that. Look at that. I can take a whole nap right here, bro.
Maybe that's why. It's so that you can open the door on the passenger side.
Listen, honestly, I'm gonna give this one. Hold up. Is it a parking spot at all? Bro, this ain't even a parking
It's not even a parking
spot.
spot. Good point.
This isn't even a parking spot. You know what? You know what?
What's going on with the title of the video? Rating Parking Season 2? What was Season 1? FCS Can't Park? It's not even by the same name, so how is it Season 2?
Whoa.
I really don't understand this skit here of of him in the hole.
If there was a baby here, that baby is dead. Okay? Look at this. FCS Patriots.
Well, if the baby was there, then I don't think the car would park that way.
I will not trust that baby. I will not trust that baby in this car.
It's not.
And then come over here. Come over here. Look at it. A homeless person can sleep right next to your car for how much space it is. We can't be
I forgot to say that sound effect from earlier when
honestly,
John lied down in between the car, the RAV4. That sound effect was way too loud.
You know, I'm still gonna give it enough money because it sucks. But you know, shout out to the babies that are in here.
We definitely don't want to say that word on
Amen.
FCS media content.
Oh my God! We're ending up the video right here. We got one car left. What is this? Frank, come over here.
This is actually pretty bad. Look at where the block is and look at where the car is.
Okay, let's get on this side so y'all can see how bad this is. First of all,
Hold up. You know that this guy, this person got their license illegally.
That sound effect is way too loud.
This is one. Look, first of all, this is already broken. Okay, this is broken. But just to show how far it's off, look at this. This probably has like maybe a couple more inches left in it, as you can see. Probably has a couple more inches left. That just shows how bad this parking is. Frank, show me the side of the car.
Oh my goodness, bro. You know this guy failed their license.
Here we go with the license joke again.
Like, they may have gotten their boat license, but not their car license, obviously.
Let's look at this. You are this much, okay? And I got big legs. This is a big gap, okay? So
Big
honestly,
leg.
I'm giving it honestly, I think I can fit this gap. I think the Rock can
You
fit it.
definitely don't want to be sitting on someone else's car as you're making fun of their parking.
Right here. I'm gonna
Imagine if they saw this video.
I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna give it a D+.
They might press charges.
D minus. That's a good
No,
thing.
no D minus, no D plus, just a D.
It's just a D.
It's just in the middle.
Because this car is a D. Now, Hondas are dangerous.
What's wrong with the car?
Hand off the clip.
It's also not a Honda. It's a Hyundai.
Oh!
And good night.
No way.
It doesn't even have an ending. Okay. Can't see. That's not in the video. That's something that happened with my internet here. I'll just start it over. There's way too much headroom here. I did not understand a word that was said there. Here's Dylan.
I'm guessing. I don't know. I have no idea.
Solid liquid and gas.
The title, there's this thing called title caps where you capitalize the first letter of every word except things like conjunctions. It's really hard to understand anything that's said. The audio is very poor. If you're gonna film with an iPhone, don't do the zooming in thing. Looks really, really bad quality.
Okay, so what
The-
number planet is the Earth?
I understand that you're asking random people, but some of the hosting is a little too awkward. Like no eye contact being made, standing kind of like.
Who's the second president?
Abraham. Our father Abraham.
That's definitely a troll answer. Why does this video have the black bars?
5 apples and you have 4
What is this?
How many more apples do I have? One, no.
I definitely want a Dorito now. Too much headroom. Lower the camera.
All right.
All right, we're live.
Again, part 2.
Okay, so this is our first official one, let's say.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna do myths. Oh, by the way, we still gotta figure out a name for our podcast.
Okay, this is a podcast. Great audio quality.
Okay, so today we're doing myths, right?
I had the.
What's the first myth you want to talk about?
Actually, they asked me what's the correct
And then we'll really, get in depth.
format for the title.
Well, like you know how.
And
it
they
is,
got it
all my
right, so
friends
good
who
on them.
me, we're doing like Greek gods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like Mount Olympus and stuff like that. So like those gods are pretty cool, but like one theory or like myth that's like kind of intriguing to me is the Loch Ness monster.
You know,
Okay, so if you're gonna do a podcast, you need to introduce what it is right at the beginning. Um, I actually made a document. Hold on, let me turn the volume down here a little bit here. By the way, they were talking about a whale's male organ, let's say. I don't know if I want to mention that stuff in a podcast. Like, it's okay to talk about it if you're in a science class. It's okay to talk about it, you know, for real. But I don't know if I would want to publish that. Like that, honestly, just saying that word makes me not want to publish this video. But what I was going to say is I actually made a document for all the podcasters with a bunch of different like miscellaneous information for podcasters in their uploading process and different requirements and expectations for their podcast uploads. That's a lot more than just record audio and then put it on YouTube with one thumbnail. So if you're a podcaster, make sure you check that one out.
But like, but yeah, but what do you think about the Oculus launch? Do you think it's like some wow? You think some
So this episode, if you look at the description,
you don't believe in the Oculus.
if you look at the description, it says Renzo and Noah talk about different conspiracy theories. I also added the disclaimer myself. The views expressed on the show do not officially represent Florida Christian School. Just to cover us there, cover myself.
Let me just say another one that I don't believe in. That this whole world is a simulation and a matrix. Because of my Christian worldview, I feel like that kind of like debunks it.
Yeah, I'm a Christian too, but it's
interesting.
It's very interesting
because our brains are not developed.
We're talking about the Matrix right now.
Theories and things like that, which is scary to think about. Like for example, let me think of something. Like when you're thinking about heaven, right?
Yeah.
And when you die, if you go to heaven, you get that concept of forever, literally.
Eternal. It's eternal life.
Exactly. And then when you start to think about that, no breaks, no death. And it's trippy to think about because literally, if I die today, you'll be in heaven forever, and you think of that long path, and it's scary to think about.
You're there.
That is trippy.
Yeah, like
I guess if I would
forever,
use that word.
Heaven, a gold
road or staircase.
a gold tunnel, and
It is like our brain doesn't have.
Literally forever, like no end.
We have no concept of that.
I'm pretty sure like in the
infinity.
Bible class, I've heard like that you'll be worshiping with
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, like and you can meet like Moses and like people like that.
But one thing that calms me down when I'm thinking about it, because I actually get like really nervous.
Yeah, me too. Like when I think about it like 2 in the morning, I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Like you start getting that like.
I can relate.
When I think of that,
especially when I was younger.
This feeling that we're feeling now.
Like getting scared of dying. I mean, I'm gonna be real. Still now, when I do really sit down and think about eternity, heaven,
this seems so long.
God's holiness. It's intense.
5 minutes, 30 seconds.
Because another thing, those feelings here on Earth that like when you're having so much fun, you're in that moment. You're like, it doesn't feel like time exists. You're in the moment.
You're just there.
Exactly.
Yep. Relatable.
And you're just in that moment.
And you're just having fun, and that's literally what it's gonna be like in heaven. It's gonna be like you're in that moment, and then when we make that, or when God makes that new Earth, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be amazing, dude. Because like I don't know if it's gonna be like this Earth just with no sin.
My dog Noah.
But I don't know.
Speaking facts right now. I'd get in an arc if he built one today.
It's exciting, bro. You get like Rob.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Yes, dude. Because it's so exciting to think about.
It is.
Wait, so we were at simulation, and you're saying how you can't even comprehend all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. The human mind is nowhere near comprehending theories like that. Like this whole world is a simulation.
So you don't believe, like, okay, let's say you're not a Christian, right?
Okay.
And you hear people say like, so many people said that like, Andrew Tate.
I do like that we're approaching this from a Christian perspective.
They're just like they're tricking you, and like all you're doing in life is making the rich richer.
That right there, that I believe.
What?
I believe that there is a system, and the way it works is like that. Like anything you could do, something behind. I feel like the government is hiding many things.
Yeah, for sure.
But like not just simple like, oh my god, we're letting this guy evade, like do tax evasion, we're not gonna get him in jail.
Yeah,
okay, just a disclaimer. Let's
change the whole like
just like when we're publishing on FCS Media, let's not say OMG. Like the words.
I believe there's aliens in there, but I do believe they're hiding some crazy.
Yeah, let's just not do that.
And the crazy part
because other people, we're kind of saying God's name in vain when we do that.
working for it.
Or are we just pawns?
I know that
'Cause,
the
you know, a lot of
intention
things-
behind it is not
sure, you
to
get a good education, go
to
college,
you know
do a degree,
blaspheme
but
God.
still you're just pumping out employees. That's
But
what
I
that's
think we
important.
just
Yep.
And I
It's-
think
shouldn't
it's
shouldn't
just
say that for
the way
FCS
everything-
media
exactly.
purposes.
And
it's on.
okay. It's just this hasn't lagged in a while, so I didn't think it was gonna happen. But no, yeah, they're definitely okay. This sounds okay.
It's on.
It sounds better. It sounds better. What were you saying about like?
That's the kind of stuff
what
you
be hiding?
should cut out
Like,
in the edit,
not so much anything,
like testing the mic.
More like more political stuff. I feel like.
Yeah, like okay, for example, the election.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Republican. Are you?
Yes, me
Okay,
too.
not that, you know.
We have to edit that out because I don't think we're allowed to share our.
Also, should we not say about the election?
No, you're allowed to. You're
just have
allowed
edit
to.
out the part of
Well,
like,
okay.
where we stand.
Okay.
Like for example, I think
That's fine.
Biden is a puppet. That's what I think.
Is it what?
Is a
A
puppet.
puppet?
A puppet.
Yeah, he moves, talks. It's so weird. He's like a robot almost.
Yeah.
But like not a good robot.
We could talk about the Loch Ness monster, but not that we're
I feel like it
Republican.
was a scam because I feel like no one in their right mind.
Nah, it's
would
okay.
vote for a man that can't even finish the sentence.
Yeah,
can't
he
even
can't even remember what he's gonna say.
Exactly. And yes, I understand. Like, no hate to old people, but like old people that
No, but-
function that way and speak like that should be going for president.
Should not.
Yeah, no one should be going
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
president. in that
Shouldn't.
way.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Kamala Harris. I feel like she just kind of used him so you can just slide right into the government,
Yeah.
and then you have a big.
I think it's
spot.
more than
Because
Kamala. I think
think about it,
it's
he's not gonna be around for a
the whole
while. That
Democrat
man
Party.
got- and guess-
He's almost
See,
like
this is a good
President Clinton.
podcast moment because I'm like, oh man, I wish I was there so I could talk with these guys about it.
No,
So
I'm saying if he dies within his term,
Oh yeah.
she's the next
she's
president, and then
which is insane.
she gets everything she wanted.
She's smart, but like also
She's
cruel.
smart, but she's
Just not good.
she's a snake.
Yeah.
You can.
But I think that the election was rigged,
So do I.
bro. Like there was proof.
It's just
I'm
a
pretty sure
lot
there
of
was
stuff
proof.
that doesn't really add up. But hey, whatever.
You know, we can't say anything. Like, we don't really have a say.
What's your position on like where the government stand with all these pandemics and sickness and stuff? Like for example,
Oh, vaccines.
yes,
I think
here we
I
go.
think they're pushing out vaccines way too much.
Yeah.
The COVID vaccine, they did it in what, like a year, 2 years,
Yeah.
almost. I mean,
Yep.
Less.
vaccines to make them correctly and to help.
Less than a year.
humans, that takes years, dude. Like 5, 10 years
Mhm.
more.
Yeah.
And for them to pump out these random vaccines that no one knew anything about in less than a year, 2 years, whatever.
Yeah.
And giving them to my grandma,
Mhm.
and she has, she's like quadruple vaccinated or something like that. And like my mom's worried because like, bro, they're
no,
gonna
that's scary, dude.
they're gonna
Because
switch
there's been
something in
side
there.
effects and everything. Yep.
They're gonna switch something in there that's gonna make us robots, bro.
So there's this theory that I heard, and this talk about vaccines just made me think about it. So have you heard of the mark of the beast?
Here we go.
So
This is
essentially,
a fun one, man. This is
there
fun.
is this mark that you get. So eventually, there's gonna be an antichrist, right?
What's
And
that like?
An antichrist, it's a man, and he's gonna claim to be God. So,
Oh, yeah.
and you're gonna have to get this mark to show that you believe him, and that to show that you're rejecting Christ completely. So once you get that mark, you're going to hell.
Like there's no like going back.
From what I understand, no, but you know, only
Where
God
did you
knows.
hear that?
But no, it's in the Bible.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So
This is a view
that happened,
that
and
people
then
have of the Bible.
there was
Just
theory,
to
yeah.
be clear.
There's the
that
what?
the vaccine was going to be that.
The mark of the beast.
Yes, but because I don't know if the whole like it was made in the building 666 is true, but I do know that the Bible says that mark. If you don't get it, you'll be locked out of the economy.
Oh, really?
And guess what happens if you didn't get the vaccine? You can't go to stores without a vaccine or a mask. Now you can, but
Yeah,
I'm talking
but
about before.
No, like my brother's friend. His name is Charles. He lives in New York, and he over like a summer a little bit ago,
Mm.
he went to Europe. He almost got stuck in Europe because he didn't have a vaccine. Or
Yeah.
Or like a vaccine problem.
It
and-
literally locks you out, and without.
Hey
without
man, I don't even have to say
you
anything.
have no
Just
choice. which is the trick. It's literally forcing.
let
you to
these
get
boys
this
go at it.
without saying they're forcing you to get it, which is insane. Which, it sucks, man, because something that you don't want to do, it's forcing you to do it.
Again, let's not say sucks
It's not correct.
for FCS
But
media.
We
I know.
can't. Us people, we can't say anything. We can say stuff, but that doesn't mean it's gonna change.
No, because it's just a pyramid. If people are higher than you, man, and
Like higher, like on level, like government level.
yeah, government level, even schools and teachers, you know, it's
Yeah, they control us.
I control you guys for sure.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the.
Okay, those little moments where you guys are like saying stuff or checking stuff,
We could like.
gotta edit that stuff out.
All right. So So that's the simulation theory is the one. Simulation theory is one that you don't believe. Right.
in the sense
Have a
that
Christian review. Like
no, but in the sense that like literally like a video game simulation, like all this is like not real.
it's just
That
crazy.
I don't believe. But the simulation in the sense that everything is set up in certain ways to
trick
help.
you.
Exactly. That I do believe.
Okay.
It's just the way you interpret simulation.
Now, what's one theory that you do believe? Like that you're like, oh yeah, I mean that makes.
Yeah, I
sense,
mean that's
like,
two
yeah.
completely different interpretations of that word.
That's tough to think about because there's so many theories
I
out
know.
in the world right now.
Like, there's the
And
Big Bang theory, which obviously we don't believe.
the Big Bang,
I think that's
I
honestly
think
one of the
it's
stupidest ones.
completely
Yeah.
fake, completely fake. Because How
It
can
is.
something be made out of nothing?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah, it's like,
less
okay.
obvious, right? Or like,
Completely. Atheists, scientists believe that. It doesn't make sense. And how is it that we came to be on this earth out of random chance?
Mm.
like,
And-
and,
and there's-
to
and there's-
last,
and
that
there's
last
been-
this
yeah.
long is only the power
And there's
of God.
been
can do that.
no right now no other description of like humanoid life on any other planet except this one. How come on the planet we're on, we are the perfect range from the sun and the moon?
We have a perfect atmosphere that
We have a
protects us
perfect
with the
orbit.
rays.
Exactly. We have
Here we go.
everywhere.
The
not just
fine
humans,
tuning of the
me
universe
personally,
argument.
I believe if life was to be created on a planet, that would be the only life on that planet.
Wait a second.
If I believe that if all right, so this planet has a huge range of animals and creatures, right?
Yeah, I mean the ocean. We'll get to that next. The ocean.
On any planet, I feel like if there's a creature to be made on that planet, that's the only creature that will be made on that planet. How come on this planet we have
So
such a
many
huge
variety.
range? Exactly.
And with humans too, I mean, like, look at this. America. We
God's
have,
sandbox.
White people, whatever.
American
We have
people,
American people. Below us, we have
South American
South
people.
American.
We have Asian people.
We
We have
have
African people. We have
European.
people. We have German people.
We have British people. Is
We
that
have
like a thing?
Yeah, yeah. You can,
Yeah,
you
but
can-
Are British people a thing?
Yeah,
Um,
it's just insane, dude.
so
What an
That doesn't
American
just
thing to
happen by
say.
chance.
the
It
Big
doesn't-
Bang, I don't believe at all. And that's not just because I'm a Christian. It seems.
It just.
I
I
yeah,
like
it's
how
just-
I like how the Big Bang
Way.
is included in the
Something is
conspiracy
nothing, and
theory
it's gonna be nothing.
uh,
That's just how it works.
conversation.
Nothing makes nothing. Something makes something, which is what happened with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were we gonna say? Cut you off.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it can't be that God created everything from nothing.
That we could have lasted
Okay,
this
so
long.
what was
They
it?
said
Oh,
that
everything
we
came from
came
nothing.
from the Big
It's
Bang,
like you're
billions,
still
billions, whatever, years ago,
saying
there's
something
there's
that's
no way.
that's
Just because one
divine
little-
power.
That's literally nothing out of nothing twice. Because if this Big Bang happened millions of years ago, we weren't around millions of years ago. So, how
Yeah.
is this planet just gonna have humans? out of nowhere?
Yeah, that's
Because
what-
if this planet
yeah.
started
Well,
without
'cause
humans,
they believe in evolution. Yeah, evolution. So like they start with
that's
fish.
unbelievable.
A fish to whatever frog, monkey,
Which-
us. Which honestly, monkeys are getting kind of scary because of how intelligent they're becoming.
Mhm.
But still, for the Big Bang to last to now what we are today
Yeah.
is insane.
Yep.
And to survive wars, pandemics, all this stuff, I don't buy it.
Mm-mm.
Well, but one thing I was saying about the ocean is there's so much stuff we don't know about the ocean. We only did like 7% of the ocean.
Man, which video are we even on right now?
Scary. It's scary, dude.
We gotta
They could look. I don't believe there are monsters in this
6 out of
ocean, but
24.
There could very well be. There could very well be monsters in this ocean. Like
I think-
megalodons could still exist. These
Krakens.
yeah, krakens. Maybe
These
even
100
dinosaurs.
Hey man,
Yeah,
Leviathan,
dinosaurs that exist.
Behemoth.
I
They're
would
in the
say millions ago
Bible.
because
Like
in the Bible, that's not
6,000
how it
years ago,
works.
whatever.
The thousands of years ago, these dinosaurs they could still be in that ocean
Yeah.
because they might not have died. Alligators have been around. In
Sharks
North
have been around
America.
forever, dude.
Sharks have been
And
around.
they're still here today. Why couldn't a huge, big dinosaur not survive like how a shark did?
It could,
Or-
and that's exactly the point. There literally could be big monsters dinosaurs
Or
that
big
exist.
creatures.
There could be. I'm not going down there to check though.
Snail, dude, and that could be considered a dinosaur-based creature.
I've seen these. Do you know what bioluminescence is?
Yes.
Bro, this alien-looking kind of squid thing, like jellyfish. I think it's called like a rainbow jellyfish, whatever. Bro, it literally generates like LED lights. on its
Yes.
Little flaps.
It's insane.
How does that just happen? That's insane.
That's literally just beauty.
This is a fun
That's-
podcast.
Don't you understand how scary?
No, it's
Oh, and anglerfish like a Nemo, bro.
yeah.
Okay, so what I would do to make this podcast better is I would put images or stuff on the screen related to what you're talking about, which is in that document that I sent you guys.
A government base down there, dude.
Who knows if there's other creatures?
What
that
if there's a
exist that
government
not
base
human?
down there?
We would never
Like-
know.
All right, the government's not that smart to get a base down there.
When fish finally came out of the water, whatever.
Yeah.
When fish came out of the water.
It's insane, dude.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we did 20 minutes, and we're ready to pass.
we can get a late pass.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying like I think we should.
By the
do
way,
it now.
yeah.
And then
I
we
did
just-
not give them a late pass,
All right, that was good.
That was actually
That
very
was
good. no.
very good. All right, let's say
which is
it.
real
Thank
tough.
Thank you guys.
Wait, what is it?
The black square.
You you gotta edit that stuff out, guys. Okay, Pancakes versus Waffles, all caps. Don't put it all caps. What's going on with this font choice? VS should be lowercase. Okay, I don't know how I feel about that meme. Oh wow, can't hear anything. Okay, I don't know if you could hear it, but Bryson is saying waffles are superior because it's syrup bread with abs. Pancakes don't have abs, therefore waffles are better. So what's being said is pretty funny. It's just you can't hear anything. Also, why is this in portrait mode? Put it in landscape mode so you can see both people and it fills the whole screen. What's the point of this microphone if it's not even plugged in anything? Also, shout out to how his jacket is draped over his shoulders like this. Okay, the video just ends suddenly. Yeah, not a good ending there. Okay, again, not a fan of the portrait mode. He just said Alexander Washington is on one of the dollar bills. He's probably trolling though. I can't hear anything. This should. Why is this happening in a super crowded area? Video title is pretty straightforward. Not really unique though. Yeah, that was.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Today you're with Vicky and Mason and our special guest. Alright, so
Couldn't hear Abraham much in the back there.
Bundy was an American serial killer who kidnapped, raped, and murdered numerous young women and girls during the 1970s and possibly earlier. After more than a decade of denials, he confessed to 30 murders he committed in 7 states between 1974 and 1978.
Okay.
Bundy's true victim count
I don't know how I feel. I doubt. Did you write that originally, or are you just reading this off of something? Because if you're reading it off of something, I think you need to say that.
In Florida State Prison by the electric chair. His body was cremated in Gainesville, Florida, ashes scattered at an undisclosed location at Cascade Range, Washington. His other names for to learn victims was Chris Hagen, Kenneth Mizern, Officer Roseland, Richard Burton, campus killer Rolf Miller. His spouse was Caroline Ann Boone. He had one child named Rose Bundy. His criminal penalty was 2 death sentences, 1979 and 1980. He had 1 to 15 years in prison in 1976. He escaped on June 7th, 1977,
Okay.
June 13th, 1977,
We're getting the
December 30th,
breakdown.
1977, February 15th, 1978. His victims were 20 confirmed, 30 confessed, and 36 plus suspected.
Here are some facts about Ted Bundy. Bundy had family issues and also didn't fit in at school. Bundy was apparently molested by his uncle. All of Bundy's victims had the same physical similarities. Bundy killed 30 women in the span of 4 years. Bundy was
Okay, something I would ask is, you know, why do we want this video?
Bundy kept the heads of his victims?
Yeah, he really did.
And also, Bundy's last victim was only 12 years old.
He's crazy.
That is crazy. And also, Bundy offered to help the FBI while in Florida State Prison.
Bundy terrorized California, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Oregon, Utah, and Washington. His date apprehended was August 16th, 1975. His scientific careers were psychology, lawyer, and Chinese. Bundy was regarded as
I'm not sure why we're laughing about that. Maybe something else happened in the room. The format of the title needs to be adjusted.
Such as an injury, impersonating an authority figure, before bludgeoning them into unconsciousness and taking them.
Bludgeoning is the word there.
Sexually assaulted and strangled. Bundy often visited his victims, grooming and performing sexual acts with the corpse until decomposition and destruction by wild animals made it further interactions impossible.
Any opinions, Abraham?
Well, what did he say about the Chinese? That he taught Chinese?
It said that he had a scientific career in Chinese, which is kind of, that makes no sense.
Yeah, like, how do you have a scientific career? Like, personally, that's just, I don't know. That's
and
just
he was his own lawyer.
Dude, that, come on.
That just gives you less chance.
No, it gives you more chance because you say your opinion. You say what's.
Yeah, but like, if they're like, oh, no lawyer, like, that's just kind of like a little bit dumb.
Oh, no, I am the lawyer, actually. They're like, oh, I'm the lawyer, yeah.
That's so, like, I don't get it. And they didn't catch him. Like, they only caught him, like, a good, like, 3 times, 4 times.
And
they let him go.
And he was with the FBI.
It's pretty good audio quality, but when the headset was being transferred to Abraham, it was kind of like there's a lot of noise.
True Crime Podcast.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Abraham Quan and
Ryan Valiente.
And today we're our first podcast for media for Florida Christian. It's gonna be good, right? We're gonna talk about.
Okay, we got ourselves a thumbnail here. I would name it.
What's going on during the off season?
Again, gotta fix the title.
Beginning of the season and the Miami Dolphins expectations, obviously, because we're. Come on.
I would.
I don't care if you're a Raiders fan.
I would.
I'm Jonah. We're gonna edit that out. News around the league, what's going on currently, and then preseason and expectations for the.
You gotta fix the.
A little bit.
There should be like a comma here or an and if you're gonna put both of your names down there.
So first off, we got free agents. Well, free agents.
I would put a little bit more into the title. NFL podcast is a little too generic. Make it more specific to you guys.
Yeah, we had a very. How do you say it? We had I don't know. We had like an unexpected season.
Yeah.
Like this offseason because we fired Brian Flores. We got Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel.
talking about the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Well,
Adjusting
we
the
got rid-
audio
yeah,
here.
So we got rid of that. And we got Mike McDaniels. Then we got like Xavier. We re-signed
We
Xavier
re-signed
Howard.
Xavier Howard, yeah.
That man is a beast. We
And,
got Tyreek Hill,
We got Taron Armstead.
Teddy Bridgewater, just in case if Tua gets injured or anything.
He was a starter.
Yeah, he was a
in the
starter in
Broncos,
Denver.
so-
Yeah, but since they got Russell Wilson, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it was.
Okay, these guys,
Yeah,
I
they
like
still
that they're
traded him.
prepared. They
Yeah,
know the topics they're gonna cover.
Yeah, dude,
They know
so
the
let's
they
talk
know
about the AFC
information.
is packed.
I think they had
AFC
articles
is
in
like
front of them,
bottom of the
like
barrel.
news articles in front of them, so they could
Green Bay and
use them as
the
reference.
Niners are a little
The
bit-
Niners
So
are
I
actually
do-
pretty good.
They made
I
a
do
nice
got to
win
give
last
props to
year.
these
And
dudes
I have a lot of
for
good
their
fans this year.
preparation.
Yeah, well, let's see what goes on with the Niners. My second favorite team are the Niners because of my dad. So
Yeah.
And
the
there we
Rams
go.
are
Shout out
on a
to
good NFC.
shout out to Abraham's
We go
dad.
back to AFC. We have so many
Niners
teams from the
fan.
Dolphins. They're gonna be. I think they're gonna be a wild card team. They're gonna lose in the wild card though.
Let's see what happens because you know you can never predict that type of stuff to be
Oh,
honest.
Tampa Bay NFC. So,
Oh, yeah, Tampa
But
Bay.
AFC, dude, what is it? The Ravens or AFC?
Ryan being
The Ravens- the Ravens
optimistic.
are AFC.
We got the Ravens. We have the Miami Dolphins. We have the Cincinnati Bengals,
got
Kansas
the-
City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills.
The Bills. The Bills are gonna
dude, the Bills are gonna be
definitely
if
Super
they
Bowl
don't make the
contenders.
Super Bowl, they're not gonna make the Super Bowl anytime soon because I think they have the team to.
They're going all in this year. I just know it.
But there is a challenge about the AFC because dude, it's the AFC now, and the AFC is the more
Competitive.
conference I could say. Yeah, you
Yeah,
could say that.
it's
Yeah.
one of the
Well, the Raiders received like the best receiver,
they
almost.
got Devontae Adams,
Green
arguably
Bay, right?
#1 receiver in the league.
He's up there with Cooper Cup. Actually, I checked the fantasy this morning. He's number 2 ranked. He's ranked number 2 behind Cooper Cup. And
Yeah.
that's a very big deal.
And some people think he's even better than Cooper Cup.
I don't know, man.
I think Cooper Cup is better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Raiders are like they have a pretty good offense right now. Like the Derek Carr, great quarterback. The receivers are also dude, they got a good receiver.
Both these guys
They
obviously,
got Hunter Renfrow,
you know,
they
they're
got Melvin
passionate
Gordon.
about
Their
what they're
offense is
talking
just-
about. I think that's good.
And
Their defense.
That's really good. That's really one of I would say the most important ingredient to making a podcast. Have people who are passionate about what they're talking about.
And the Broncos, they're all super good teams, and they're all in one division.
Because that just feeds into so many other things.
They're all gonna fight for wins and all.
The hosts are going to enjoy making the podcast together, and it makes it more enjoyable for the audience. I think ultimately,
They got Devontae Parker from us.
Yeah, I don't
actually.
know.
it's like a
I don't see the Patriots
contagious
I think they're gonna.
or infectious type
they're
of
trying to rebuild after
a
the Tom Brady era,
passion.
but I just don't think they have what it takes.
Maybe in a couple years though.
Dude, I
they'll
think in
rise
10 years,
again.
I think in 10 years they'll probably be like not as good as what Tom Brady brought to the Patriots, but I
Nothing.
think they'll be good.
Yeah,
But like
they'll be
they're,
pretty
they're
good.
never gonna be that good.
Imagine if I wasn't watching this on 1.5 times speed.
I mean,
We're on
bringing in, I forgot, Mac
10
Jones,
out of
Mac Jones,
24 videos
he's
here.
a decent dude, but think about this. He lost to the Dolphins 2 times that season.
Yeah, the
That's not good.
Dolphins.
The Dolphins are horrible.
They were pretty bad last year.
This year,
They still did really good last year, despite their team. And this year,
Like
their
I
team
was
is
saying with the other podcasts, I would put pictures on the screen of what you're talking about, or like footage on the screen of what you're talking about.
like
3-4 months already.
Kind of like when you're watching ESPN, they're playing footage of the guy they're talking about on the screen, or they put his picture on the screen.
But they got like 2 receivers, I think.
They got like Russell Gage Jr. and
So there are ways where you guys can do that too,
I don't know.
and that's actually something I'm requiring the podcast to do. If you look at that document I sent.
bad because their team is just too good. They're like
Dude, if you have Tom Brady on your team, you're not gonna be bad.
their defense is also super good, just as good as their offense. They're a really balanced team.
I think the Dolphins now upgraded their offense and like their defense. I think it kept the same because on fantasy it's still ranked number 6.
Yeah.
And that's how it was last season. So the Dolphins defense, maybe if you get like the greatest DB, who can you think of? The DB, one of the DBs in the league right now.
They have like Javon Holland and
I think the Dolphins, if they could get one of those receivers, will be the number 1. Like we're that good.
Yeah.
But the offense, I think we still got to upgrade on the offense. Dolphins still
we
got
got
to work.
Jalen Waddle. We got the Legion of Zoom.
Yeah, we got
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle.
the 2 fastest receivers in the
Legion
league.
of Zoom. I'd never heard that
Preseason,
before.
What we've got for the preseason, I mean, dude, so far, yes,
Them
I
them
don't know,
dudes
I
are
haven't seen any games.
fast for
I'm
sure.
gonna try and watch some games today, but I know the Bills played today, and that's dude, the Bills. I want to see the
Bills?
Bills. I want to see the Bills.
And Deshaun Watson suspended a couple games.
Oh,
because of that. And DeAndre Hopkins.
A
also
couple.
suspended
I heard it was like
2 games.
11 games, which is almost the whole season.
Chet Holmgren,
Yeah.
he's out for the season.
No, I was about to talk about it, but I forgot.
This is an NFL
Yeah, so
podcast, so
let's just keep
let's
that
move
in.
on
Yeah.
to NFL.
Well, the Chiefs, I think, beat the Packers yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Like, and
People-
today is 8/26, 2022.
People have a lot of hope in the
There we
Packers.
go.
I'm just not that guy that thinks.
I
they're
like
gonna
that,
win.
Abraham.
That's
You
how
said
every year, dude. And
Every
people-
year,
dude,
to help people
oh,
understand the
they- they're
context
good.
of okay, we're recording this
Niners are
on
also
this
good.
Their Niners
on this
are
day.
good. They did pretty good last year. They
They
did an
made- they-
unexpected.
An unexpected run that
Yeah.
no one was talking about.
Yeah,
No one,
no
like,
one-
no
But
one
But these are all
like,
preseason games.
Oh,
Oh.
we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
never mind.
It's fine.
Yeah, we'll just edit that out. So yeah, like I was saying, the I forgot what I
The Niners and
Oh yeah. The Niners are.
I can't tell if you actually what was even said. I'm not gonna rewind just for the sake of
a little bit on offense.
not pausing or rewinding in this video
What's this
review.
guy's name, dude? I forgot.
get rid of
The
who?
quarterback.
Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes, He's not even practicing
I
with the team
think-
right now.
Jimmy
I think he's gonna give it to the
G.
Browns because the Browns don't even have a starting quarterback.
I don't know, but because Baker Mayfield went to the Panthers, right?
He's the starting quarterback
Yeah, and
for
I
the
think,
Panthers.
dude, Cam Newton.
Cam,
I think he's gonna leave. That's what I think.
He's not. Good.
What
I
if
don't know
Cam
who
goes
he
to the
is. I don't
Browns?
think he wants to be a backup for the Panthers, and
He's not that good anymore.
I think I don't know, but that's me.
Well,
Now,
I
think
just
this
like
season,
that I have a
what do you
podcast
expect
right
from-
here,
Like, who do you? Okay.
and I don't have to watch
Who do you expect?
ESPN or FS1 or anything about that. I can just listen to
They're gonna make it to the
my
playoffs.
own
Yeah,
students'
Bills-
podcast about sports, and I'm set.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Or
For real.
Bills, Rams Super Bowl, or it could be. I actually don't know. It's so unpredictable because the Niners they made the conference.
Mhm.
Like
we don't know because there's so many good teams this year, and
Tom Brady was this close to almost beating the Rams too. So it could have been. It could
Yeah.
have been Tom Brady and
the Rams did a really good.
Joe
play.
Burrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Did you see what happened in Rams and Bengals practice? They got into a huge fight.
no, I gotta check it out, dude.
Yeah, I saw a video on that. Everyone's
That
fighting over
always
it.
happens when the teams do the joint practices. There,
Let's finish this podcast.
there's
off with the
a
playoffs. What are
few
you
each
expecting from,
season,
like,
or
who
at least
who
one every
are we
preseason.
section,
yeah.
whatever. So I think let's start off with the Dolphins. Obviously, the Dolphins. Come on, they're the
I think
hometown.
the Dolphins are gonna upset. I think they're
I
gonna
don't
be
know. I don't know. I think they might upset one team in the season, and then what I think is gonna happen is they're a good team, but they're a medium team. Like they're all right. Like I think just by getting Tyreek Hill doesn't mean we're the best team.
They're a
Yes, we have
mid
defense and
team.
we upgraded our offense, and that's what Mike McDaniel's brought to the Dolphins since he was the offensive coordinator of the 49ers.
Mhm.
Oh, and actually the Niners might be a little bit worse because they lost Mike McDaniel's.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike McDaniel's, he's surprisingly he's doing a decent job coaching. Like I thought he was gonna be doing bad. He's not doing that bad. We beat the Buccaneers in the preseason. Yeah, it's a preseason game, but still, that new quarterback we have. he's
Hey
pretty
man,
decent.
as a Dolphins fan, take
I don't know
those
where he's
take
from.
those
He was
dubs.
Montana.
Which one?
Montana
Oh
State,
yeah.
I think somewhere
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
I have no idea. But yeah, like that. It's I don't know. It's just they're gonna. I think they're gonna like be. They're gonna have more wins than losses for sure. That's what I think. Raiders. They're gonna be. I mean, they're gonna be decent. You know.
And the Titans, Derrick Henry's returned.
Yeah,
He's
Derrick
coming
Henry's AFC, another AFC team, dude. The AFC's packed. So
The AFC is pretty packed.
well, hey, that's it for the podcast right now. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank
By
you
the
guys
way,
for watching.
my YouTube is Abraham Quant. I'm gonna try and post this too on my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
See if
just
it
go
works.
subscribe to him.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys.
There
This
we
is your
go. We
host,
got
Abraham,
that personal plug.
And Ryan Valiente.
and we are out. And our next episode will probably
See you
be
guys.
NBA.
Yeah, just cut out that end part there.
Yes, Mr. Taylor? Yes, you.
Okay, so what I would do there is have a shot of the student and a shot of the teacher as two separate things, not moving the camera.
Come on, please, please.
The other student was just
Guys, now, please.
chilling in the bathroom, just looking at nothing. Okay, I think the skit has potential.
Welcome to FCS Questions, where we make two teams compete against each other by answering questions about any school subject or the school itself. Today's contestants are Cynthia Vasquez and Jaylee Joe. So the first question is, when was the Constitution first written? Please tell me the year. Jaylee, would you please answer this question?
Oh, I know. It's the year 1787.
Well, I guess that's correct, but that's not how you say it.
Oh, bye-bye.
Okay, would you please...
1776.
Um,
Okay, so same thing I was saying in the other skit video. Just have one shot per person rather than moving the camera between the two, like how it jumped there to the.
What? So the next question is, what is the number of parking space covered by the car?
I don't know.
Oh, well, do you want to phone a friend? Oh.
Cindy, you need to flip the image.
The answer to 87. Money.
What? I'm expecting to get paid?
This is literally just a game.
It said that we would get $5 million in the flyer. I'm leaving.
What's going on with the hat?
Hey guys, sorry that I'm like 40 minutes late. Whatever, have a seat.
Oh, it's a twin joke.
Oh, we're supposed to go over there?
Clever.
Wait. Hello. Hi. You go. Yeah, okay, no.
That was pretty
Maybe
funny.
you should come a bit quieter. This isn't a school. We are literally filming in a school. Why are you even here then? The winner gets $5 million.
Oh, yeah. That's why.
What? Wait. I put that on the ad?
Okay, so the parts where Layla's talking, we should have her on camera too.
So we don't get $5 million.
Like there should be another shot of her from the other side.
No, we don't.
Okay, this is pretty funny. Like the script is pretty good.
Oh, I see you.
There are adjustments I would make to how it was filmed for sure to improve it. Bloopers. I'm sure there were so many bloopers. Okay. Default font, not centered font. I can't really hear that well. Okay, if this is a backpack show, you've gotta let me see the whole backpack with the camera. So a lot of times the backpack is just straight up cut off. I'm never gonna call Lucas that.
Nice pockets here. He has a lot of storage. I don't know. It doesn't have that much style. I give it a 5 actually. Go. I see a lot of storage. Not that good. Hello? I give it a 5 actually. I'm Francis because volleyball. I think. Yeah, she does. Alright, so here's a
I think.
volleyball cabinet. Says nothing on it and one is bottle. And so she has a nice volleyball cabinet. I really like it. She has 8 items and she has nice ribbons. Really, all the ribbons are nice. And then she has this orange backpack for school. And she has 2. She might have a pocket, but it's still. Backpack, really average, all black Jack for backpack. You know how much to say about it? It's nice. I give it a 6 out of 10.
This man did not want to be interviewed. The camera operation could use a lot of improvement. Like for example, all this space here. Well, that's good now. But like the space between their head and the top of the frame. Here the key is you just gotta make sure the people are in the shot and the backpack is in the shot. I would just move around a lot less. You know, you can stand still and just, you know, film them standing there and just get everything on camera. I think the concept is pretty good. Rating people's backpacks, because that's one of the ways at a school with a uniform where you can kind of show off your swag. So the backpack does tend to be one of those flex items. Although I don't really think we should be concerned with flexing all that much. This guy made it into the video again with his backpack on his chest. 2 videos in a row. Where's he going?
I made him laugh. Let's go, baby. 4 racks, baby. Let's go.
That was tough to watch. Okay, camera operator, look, we're drifting away. Denzel's almost out of the shot. You got to keep the camera. There should just be balance here. One guy on the right, one guy on the left, and you can see both of them from like the chest up. Don't use the zoom in thing. Looks kind of bad. Looks kind of crusty, as they say. This idea for a video is funny too. This is hilarious that he's wearing the football uniform during the interview. But
Hey guys, we're back here with the fourth podcast today. Well, not today, over the week. We've been talking about sports news consecutively for
Fourth podcast, but
So the first thing we're gonna talk
this
about
is
the Bengals at the Rams
episode 1.
for
So
swinging helmets fighting. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to put these teams is like in a scrimmage right after the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Rams are gonna be kinda mad to win,
that
but any little
that
thing
is funny.
could be
Two teams
you know
fighting.
what I'm saying?
Whose idea was it to put the two Super Bowl opponents against each other
It's Aaron Donald holding two
in a
Super Bowl
scrimmage?
helmets. So that means he literally took him off by himself. Exactly. He was going crazy, bro. I think it's because he got pushed down. In the picture, you could see even one of his teammates is
Aaron Donald
I mean,
is
who wouldn't be? This guy is probably like 300
is scary.
pounds and still fast. That is actually.
Okay, this screen is completely black, by the way. We need a thumbnail for the show. We need either video footage or an image on screen, or you know, for the stuff that you're talking about as you're talking about it.
So that's 510K a year just for being like rostered. Which is.
And he still makes like 10, 20 mil.
Probably around there. We're gonna have to.
Also, the title sports podcast. That's not really a title for a show. That's just like describing what it is. That's just. It's like if instead of calling me Mr. Swindle, you would call me teacher. It's just like the category of what I am. So in this case, sports podcast is not really a title. It's more like saying the category. So you need to have a unique show title. You need to have the name of the episode. And you have the episode number here. That's good. But yeah, I sent a document with the directions for podcast videos for you guys to follow. Let's see here. 15 out of 24. We're almost there. 1 hour into this video. Into this review.
Wow, 3 positions?
All right, the Miami Dolphins have done a lot.
It's a little quiet. Well, let me turn this up because some video.
With an offensive scheme that's known to be quarterback friendly.
Audio quality is good, but it's still just. I think a little quiet.
Yeah, they got.
We got one of the best running backs.
I don't know. Maybe it's my setup.
I mean, you throw the right ball, he's probably catching it.
But then Jasicki might get traded, and he's really good.
Yeah,
He's a really good tight end.
So with the cut down next week, I think the Dolphins will be seeking out some more depth at corner on the defensive edge along the offensive line. So the Dolphins need new corners so far from what we've read. Offensive line and corner.
You can definitely tell that.
Pressing, even though the issues
You know, they're literally saying that they're reading some of this stuff from headlines. So that's good that they came prepared to have topics of discussion for the show, rather than just ramble about stuff. So that's good. Like I've noted with the other podcasts.
And do you want to switch it up to baseball a little bit, or like basketball, whatever you want?
Yeah, sure. I'll just. Let's go to basketball because I haven't been there in a while. Oh, Shy. SGA scores 23 points and Team Canada win. So SGA is Canadian, obviously. World Cup qualifiers.
The thing I would do though is have the topics before, rather than looking at the stuff in the moment. I would have the topics set out before you press record.
In the Canadian team. Dang, De'Aaron Fox only 2017 class star without playoff appearance. That's super sad. That's like what, 5 years ago, and you still haven't made a playoff. I'm not saying that it's his fault. He's obviously like decent, I guess. He's in the NBA.
He's decent.
I mean, he is the most disrespected, but also because he's like one of the best. And also like you have MJ, the MJ fans like always the bond is better, and they just start disrespecting him. And like that comes with fame and everything. So I have a feeling like he needed to get ready for it. Needed to start warming up and everything.
Yeah.
So Zion's back. What's the best way for the Pelicans to use Zion Williamson? Well, this doesn't mean he's back, but let's see a way Pelicans could use ZW Williams. So Zion, oh my gosh, this guy's a beast.
He is a beast.
Yeah, no.
Hasn't
over the summer wasn't his best. You know.
Hasn't really worked out so far for him in the NBA though.
One of his best. I think he was in prime in high school, which is kind of sad to think about. But no, if he could keep on a steady diet, get good weight, he could possibly be like one of the best in the league right now. One of the best.
Isn't that crazy that a professional athlete, we're talking about like, oh, overweight. It's like, man,
there's a lot of
it's like literally part of
there's a lot
It's like your
of
job.
talent
Like, what else are you doing? I don't know.
You know, we got the class of
Um,
2023, which is
it's like an actor being bad at acting. It's just like,
very good.
okay, you literally have one job
Let's talk about
that
Zach.
you need to
He's
focus on.
184 pounds,
Monster.
and he is still athletic.
And I wonder when Bronny's coming in.
But I mean, I'm not that tall. I'm not that strong. I'm not that big. So I don't know what it's like to have to work out
To get his
with,
to be on, well, both of them.
uh,
He's gonna
with a
play
body like Zion's.
is in the NBA because he's 15 right now. That's 3 more years. But if him and Bronny get on the same team, possibly he'll stay and wait for his other son.
LeBron holding out for his for his son to get in the NBA. That's a funny storyline.
LeVar Ball, thank you. LeVar Ball is like one of like the most successful dads. Like imagine having 2 other kids in the NBA at the same time, and one of them did really good in the summer league. Over the summer. So you have LaMelo, who has 20 points per game right now, about 7 rebounds a game, 7 assists, which is great, almost triple double, but actually not almost, around there. So let's see like not his so recent games, his games from like a couple months ago. He had a total of 1,508 points in 2 years of playing, which is wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And 2 years of playing. Ooh, and then he had that 85 3-point percentage game.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I think it was like April 10th. I don't know. I'm not pretty sure, but I know it was against the Wizards. He had 50 field goal percentage, 85 3-point percentage. He had 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, and he only played 29 minutes. One of his like less minutes. That's like
I like that
minutes, obviously.
we have
Hornets.
multiple podcasts covering different things. We had a little crossover there when we had 2 talking about NFL.
Like those shoes are pretty good. Plus,
But
he had a- yeah, they're like meant for
this one's more about NBA, whereas the other ones were more about
No. Like he had a
NFL.
scholarship, like a partnership with Puma when he was like 15. He had like the LaMelo Ball ones, I think. I'm about to search it up right now. LaMelo Ball ones. LaMelo Ball collection. All right, so oh my gosh, sold out. That is. So they want $125.
Those are
the shoe
They're pretty sick.
the whole shoe industry thing is a complete
I don't think those feel the best.
uh
All right, but back to like LeVar Ball.
it's a complete scam.
Bro,
I'm just gonna say it.
extremely successful kids.
It's
LaMelo,
just gotten completely out of control.
Lonzo and LiAngelo, which is actually crazy. But LiAngelo is not in the NBA, but I have a feeling like he should be.
Yeah. How old is he?
No, he's old, he's enough. But there was this thing happening at UCLA once he like stole a ring or something.
Oh, I remember that.
I wish, man.
No, but that'd be dope if all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that means he can't be in the NBA.
That'd be dope if he stole a ring.
Why would you take a ring though? Come on.
Look, you see this picture right here. He was UCLA.
Yeah.
Then Lonzo already made it. Then you have, little LaMelo
Still in high school.
dropping 92 points, bro. 90, like that has to be like a record right now.
Probably.
That like if you get more than 92 points in a high school game, then that is crazy. Like I can't even get 92 points in 2K, which is kind of sad.
That was funny.
Yeah,
That was
92
funny.
points. Let us search up the stats. Oh. Stats. So
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff you should have prepared beforehand, so you're not like wasting time on the show looking that stuff up.
Second half, he just started going crazy. 146 to 143. Yeah, the second half of like the game, because 2 quarters is a half. So UCLA. Oh, he committed to UCLA. I did not even. Oh, it's because he went to play at Spire Academy. Bro, but that team Spire was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't he play for like a Lithuanian team? It was like overseas in Australia or something. Maybe. Let's see.
Lithuania.
When he slapped someone.
Oh yes.
He slapped someone?
On YouTube.
No, look, wait, what? LaMelo Ball is headed back overseas. A 17-year-old announced. Oh wait, he's not 17 anymore.
Yeah.
This is pretty old news. I thought he was about to. I thought he was about to leave the NBA just to go back. Well, started playing basketball. Oh, of course, Chino Hills, prime Chino Hills, was crazy. Oh, you had all the Ball brothers. Then you had like what? Two other like great starters who really knew how to play the game.
Yeah.
They were like smart. They were just the best team, the best high school team ever. I don't think they lost. They went undefeated. So, yeah, I think they're like very good. So now I Oh, what else should we talk about?
MLB.
Oh yeah. So
Okay, going to MLB now.
What has happened in MLB? Do you know
Got
anything
some
about it?
versatility here.
The Cubs has been on a roll, and the Orioles have been on a streak lately.
Didn't they lose a streak like
Yeah.
yesterday? Oh my gosh, dude.
You good there?
That's the
Yes,
kind of
sorry.
stuff you should edit out rather than leaving the show.
Astros sweep the Twins for a second time. Okay, the Twins.
This one kind of suck.
Yeah, the Twins are kind of bad.
Kind of Duke.
All right, so Yankees still have faith in Greg Weissart after a disastrous debut. He walked 2 batters and hit 2 batters
God.
in his MLB debut, failing to find his command.
Yeah, so let's not say suck and let's not use God's name
Is
in vain.
bad. Well, that is terrible. All right, so with that, we're gonna wrap it up for today with the Greg Weissart news. 2 hit batters, 2 walk batters, and not even like coming out when you're called isn't a good look. So with that, we're gonna end it for today. We're gonna see you guys on Monday. Enjoy your weekends. I'll see you guys on Monday.
Yep.
Bye.
Very whoa. Got the cutoff here at the top. I think they're doing that because I think the person parked this way because
Get the bumper sticker.
they have the extra space and it makes it easier to get out on that side.
And then we spotted this.
Why is this squared?
Is this some kind of like trend going on?
This
here with
video
cars
should
or
be
parking
landscape.
On the other side? Somebody take away their license.
Because it's not even actually a square video. It's a 16 by 9 video with black bars.
This is day 2. This is the same car. Why do people do this?
They do that so they have more space on the driver's side to get out. They're doing it on purpose because no one else is parking in that smaller spot.
Hey guys, welcome to Game Review.
Today we're going to be showing off the biggest upcoming games of 2023.
Let's
Okay,
not waste
look.
any more time with this intro.
So podcasters, check this out. This is
Capcom
a
comes in with their latest game in the Street Fighter series with Street Fighter 6.
this totally works as an audio only podcast, but you can see that
revamped combat system, next-gen graphics, and a
he
new
put the
emphasis on Street Fighter
chapters.
with graffiti and a new soundtrack to fit the theme. Choose from an iconic cast of both
So I
old
can
and
go
new
to
Street
the
Fighter characters
I can
and
go to the
find the world
games
that
or the
brought
parts
fighting
of the
games to
show that I
masses.
want to
The game
hear,
comes out on PS4, PS5, PC, and Xbox Series
and
X
you
and
have
S sometime in
B-roll
summer
footage
2023.
of what's being talked about.
Starts off zoning with fireball. Starts with a jump. Decides to go in with the target combo.
They have the correct
Hard Rock Legacy is an immersive
formatting
open world action RPG set in the world of Harry Potter.
for the title.
In the game, you'll be a 5th-year student who holds a key to an ancient secret that can rip apart the
And this is how you do the chapters. You put the timestamp of where the chapter starts, and then you just put the word right after, and then you press enter. You make a list like this.
The timeline of the game will be in the 1800s, and in the game, you'll be able to discover fantastic beasts, customize your character, craft potions,
Now,
master
something
spellcasting, upgrade
something I'm
talents,
curious
and so much
about
more.
with this video is did the people who made this video write this script, or are you just reading this off of articles? Because if you're reading someone else's work without giving them credit for it, that is plagiarism. So if you're reading someone else's work, maybe well, one, I would say you don't need to read someone else's work, but if you're going to read someone else's work, it should be attributed to them.
Set in the vast land of Valisthea, Final Fantasy XVI aims to break the limits of role-playing games with gorgeous graphics, an expansive open world, and engaging combat. Like Final Fantasy XV, Final Fantasy XVI is completely stepping away from turn-based combat in favor of action combat. Although gameplay has not
I like how you guys divided up the work.
have been shown seem very impressive already. Lastly,
The only thing is that there's clearly a difference in audio quality between when Leon is talking and when Joel was talking.
exclusive sometime in 2023.
We must move now. The chaos you would reap with sweet bowl of Valisthea into the abyss.
This game looks dope.
Now that we have reviewed all
It's just I don't really have time to play a whole Final Fantasy game.
Honestly, I think that Street Fighter 6, the graphics look insane.
Yeah, bro, and the graffiti too. Graffiti's dope.
Joel's audio should be louder. Leon's is fine, but Joel's audio in this section of the show is a little quiet.
I don't know how the combat system's gonna work though. That's something that I really want to see.
Notice how they put the B-roll footage of what they're talking about, while they're talking about it. So it's not just a blank screen. It's not just a blank thumbnail.
But yeah, overall, I'm gonna give the game like on a hype scale. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, bro, because I like Street Fighter.
I think I also have to go for an 8 out of 10, just because like it's not like overwhelming hype,
but it does have a lot of hype like in the back of it because it's the 6th game of the series. Right.
I would be pretty. I mean,
So I got 8 out of 10, and you got.
I think this Street Fighter 6 is pretty hype. Street Fighter 5 had a really long lifetime. Given the state of gaming, had a really long lifespan, and I was interested to see what they were gonna do with 6, and I think they really did take Street Fighter to another level with 6, based on the trailers, obviously.
Sick. And isn't it a story game, like for the most part? Yeah, no, there's definitely a story to it. Immersive open world. There's a story to it. It's online, I think, right? So you play with friends. Right. I'm gonna give it as a rating. I haven't watched all of the Harry Potter movies, so I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world. But I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 as well, because the graphics literally made my eyes cry. Like, it's crazy. The thing is, I don't know if it's
Graphics are definitely incredible.
Yeah, in its own tier. Because Street Fighter, we both have played it before. Like Street Fighter 5, we played it both together, and we've only won a couple times. I think I'm gonna have to give it a 9 out of 10, just because all the things are going to be included. It's gonna be on every platform, right? Which I don't know how they're going to like introduce it to the Nintendo Switch.
Switch is gonna struggle, man. I don't know if it.
Yeah, PlayStation 4.
Might have to do a cloud version for the Switch. Cause
I don't know if it's gonna be able to run on the Switch, bro. Cause that
probably not.
I don't know. They would have to make the game look extremely crap for that.
Yeah, let's not say that word on FCS media.
I want to see like it compared to like PC or console. Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's Hogwarts Legacy. What do you think of Final Fantasy 16? Honestly, after a minute, I don't really play Final Fantasy games. I don't think I've ever played one. I see. Yeah. Me personally though, I've been a Final Fantasy fan since forever. So I played up to, I think my oldest Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 7, like the original. And I played 14 and 15 now. So when 16 comes out, that's going to be hype for me, honestly. And the graphics look amazing too. Combat looks sick. They're not doing like turn-based stuff like they did in Final Fantasy 7 anymore, which I don't really mind, to be honest, because Final Fantasy 15 did a really good job with that too.
Yeah, they already took it out.
A rating perspective, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, honestly.
Not to mention Kingdom Hearts also, which had the real-time fighting.
Before we were born, that's for sure. Like, yes, it's old, bro. What about you? What's your rating? 87. Really? Yeah. Oh, hell no, that's crazy.
Yeah, don't say that either on FCS media.
14, 2010. That's crazy, bro. I know Final Fantasy 15 came out like 2015, 2016. 2016, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Final Fantasy 16, I'm giving it a 9. If it kept on going, right, from 1987 to 2023, it has to be a good game series.
So these are just like hype levels.
Right? Just because
I mean, if I was a Final Fantasy fan, I would give it 10 out of 10. Same thing with Street Fighter. I would be like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted in the sequel.
So, this might be the first Final Fantasy game I go into. I'm not really sure. Bad, bro, because it's going to be different from the older ones, for sure, because it's all action this time, just like Final Fantasy 15 did. So there's no turn-based stuff at all. But maybe that would be better for you, I don't know. Something that I don't think has come out yet, right, is the price for Street Fighter and Final Fantasy. Yeah, no, both. If I were to assume, though, like you said in Hogwarts Legacy, it was like $60, $70, right? Yeah. So my assumption is that Street Fighter 6, it's not going to be a $70.
Right here we have a blank screen.
Well, it's a $5, right? So, like,
it was good to have the B-roll all the way up until now, but
Final Fantasy 16, I'm going to say $70.
I would continue it here somehow. Maybe just put the 3 covers of the games on the screen. I don't know.
No, it's on PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox Series X and S. So, yeah, it's not exclusive, but I don't really care at this point, because even if it was on like PS4 or whatever, I'd fix my old PS4 just to be able to play it. Something that I've noticed, right?
Why don't you just fix your old PS4 anyway?
Oh no, yeah, 100%. Like, you remember Demon Souls? Yeah. Demon Souls was $70 because it was on the PS5. It's just the new full price for like.
Okay, we got that end card.
It's kind of cringe. But yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. This is Leon and this is Joel, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.
Okay, nice outro. Yeah, the generic font there. So this video is actually an hour long because when they edited the video, they cut it up, and it actually should be like 2 minutes and 45 seconds long. But they left the other parts that they didn't cut up left over here. And like I was saying with the football video, we want to have both. We want to have highlights for both teams. That way you get like a recap of the match. This is a long rally here. Oh, good adjustment there off of that otherwise poor set. This is a crazy rally too. Oh. Wow, what a save. Oh, punish them. Not sure what happened there. We just kind of jumped. Wait, we're already in the third set now? What happened to the second set? What? Could be. Wait, was that the last video? Oh, it's because it's 1 hour. Yeah. You know, there's more. There should be more action here. It's a best 3 out of 5 format. Yeah, we didn't even get the full match there. That's a shame. A couple people did football highlights, so here's another one. Also, notice the thumbnail I made. For people that are doing sports highlights, I have a thumbnail template, and I'll show you guys how to use that. Just you know, talk with me when you're gonna upload your video, so I can show you how to get the thumbnail. So this video seems to only have FCS highlights. I think I wasn't quite paying attention there at the beginning. Wow, what an insane run that was. Got the bootleg out. That's a huge gain. Yeah, so this is just FCS highlights. That's cool, you know, but I think for our channel, let's have highlights of both teams. That way it's like a way where people can watch the match condensed if they weren't able to make it, and they can see the whole event, all the important moments. That's personally what I like. Even for sports teams, I'm a fan of. When I watch highlight videos, I want it to be that I can see how the whole game went, because sometimes I miss the game. I can't watch it live on TV, and I want to experience the game, how it went. Okay, I want to give a quick shout out here. 147 views in less than a week. This is one of the best performing FCS media videos ever. For real. 30 likes. That's also way up there. For us, that's huge. You might be like 147. I watch a guy who gets like 20 million. For us, that's huge.
I went back to school pretty late in life. I was in my late 30s, and I went back to FIU for my degree in history and education.
There's great audio quality to this video. We have the right title formatting here. A custom thumbnail. That's good.
Doctors, like people with PhDs on the board, and I'm here talking with them. And that was just the opportunities that I got, and it really formed the way I wanted to teach.
Sorry about that.
It showed me that teaching didn't just have to be, everyone sitting in rows and just doing workbook stuff. Like there's a whole bunch of other stuff that can be done that fosters learning, and that's what I got from my time at FIU. And that's
I think this. Okay, so I've actually listened to quite a bit of this episode already, but I think this has 147 views. because those views show us that people want this kind of content, a long form interview with an FCS teacher. Our FCS community likes this kind of content. It's a serious, thoughtful, real conversation. And Gabby came up with good questions, and Mr. Jolly was gracious with his time and gracious with offering a real effort to give thoughtful answers throughout the interview. So I gotta really appreciate that from Mr. Jolly. But it's all set up very well by Gabby with good questions. The key to getting a good answer is by asking a good question.
And then a lot of times I'm still going to football clinics and reading football books and things like that. And that was another thing that came about from me teaching here was getting into coaching. I never thought I'd be coaching football either. So that's kind of like what I do. I know it's kind of lame response, but other than football, video games, hanging out with my kids, hanging out with my wife, there's not a lot of time to do much.
Not a lame response. Not a lame response at all. You do what God has assigned you to do. Oh, sorry. I should be in full screen on this. Looks like there's a little bit of like a black line here. I don't think the thumbnail is filling the whole screen. So make sure you fix that for the next one.
I like the way that he was a Jedi and in the middle of this crazy fight. There's a moment where they can't fight because there's this energy shield pops up between him and the enemy, and you just see him there like kneel down and start meditating, like getting calm and getting serene. And I always looked up to that because that's something that I would like to be able to do, is to be like, oh, things are going crazy. Let me breathe and let me get serene. Let me get my head right before we have to go back in there and fight again. So I always liked him. But then a couple years ago, The Mandalorian came out, and I have to say that The Mandalorian is my favorite character, Din Djarin. So I'm obsessed with him. That whole storyline, I love it. It's for me, it's really a positive light. It shines a positive light on fathers and male figures that are in a fatherly role. Maybe not even naturally, because they're two totally different races. But he takes care of Baby Yoda as a father, and I'm just drawn to that because a lot of stuff these days, the father's always portrayed as like a fool, or he's like the butt of jokes, and he's
So true.
know what's going on, and it's tiresome. And it was good to see like this is a guy that
That's true.
His son and will go all out for. So I'm drawn to that story, and that's my new obsession with Star Wars. Another thing that I really enjoy is Lord of the Rings. I love that whole universe.
Oh yeah.
I'm fascinated with the fact that
here we go.
Created all that stuff and how intricate it was. Like he created a language.
We got the Amazon show of Lord of the Rings coming out on Friday. See how that goes.
My sixth graders know I use Lord of the Rings the first week of school to show artifacts, written records, and traditions. I use those clips from that movie.
Yeah, that's like perfect because it like connects to what you teach.
Yeah.
So, what is your like daily schedule?
Daily schedule. If it's a weekday, so I wake up and I try and do a power walk about a mile and a half. As I've gotten older, I have a problem with my knee, and I find it hard to run. I used to run; it's too painful. So I'll do a power walk. I got that idea from Mr. Ardois, and it really works because you build it. You're still sweating, you're still getting your heart rate up, but it's not. You don't have that rough effect on your knees. I can't remember the impact on your knees. So I'll try and do that. Then I'll take a shower. Then I'll get ready. I'll go to work, teach all day, and then right now let's go to football practice. Get home, shower, have dinner. If I got something to grade, I'll do that, and then I try and be done with everything by 8:30, 9, and just I turn everything off, and then I just hang out for a couple hours before bed.
So what time do you wake up and what time do you go to sleep around?
So sleep.
It's a great interview.
Sometimes 12. It's rough. And then I'll wake up.
It's interesting, learning about the different personalities on FCS, and this show format could be reused many times.
So you have to wake up early every day.
Yeah.
You can interview all the teachers, and you can go to staff or administration, or you can interview students. There's just infinite possibility. It's a great podcast series with a potential to really give an intimate perspective on the FCS body or FCS community, however you want to say it.
He was known as a relatively clean comedian. Like there wasn't hardly any cursing in his acts. And so they would show it on like network TV, and especially back in the 80s, you couldn't curse on network TV at all. So in order to get on network TV, you had to have clean material. So I remember watching him on like Channel 10 or something like that, ABC, And his whole thing, he's going into this whole routine. And if you've ever watched comedy specials, sometimes they'll have a joke that keeps coming up throughout the hour that they're talking. And
Yeah.
I like those types of stories where they'll set the seed of the joke and they'll keep popping up throughout the hour. So on that one, he was talking about, he says, I wish I had a gun that could kill people for 10 minutes. Not forever, just to shut them up for 10 minutes. So he would go around and he would, and every once in a while, something he would talk about something and said, bang. And he would like whoever he's talking about, bang. Like they're dead for 10 minutes. That was what it was. So I think towards the end of the special or whatever, and I think he's talking about people who talking during the movies. And he's like, bang. And then he pauses and he goes, bang. I want to see you for 20 minutes. And it was, I don't know, it's stupid, but it was a clean way.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like morbid in a way, but it was just funny because like, no, you're talking in the theater. I don't want to hear from you for 20 minutes. So that's not the funniest joke, but that's the one that came to mind. Because a lot of, you know me, I can say some cringy stuff and it's not funny, but it's like, it makes me laugh, but only because I know that it's making all you guys' eyes roll. So I don't want to go there.
Yeah, but like, that's changed a lot from today. Like,
yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what is your dream accomplishment? Like something that won't necessarily happen, but you'd be like super happy if it did.
Super happy. Okay, so I guess. So when I was at FIU and I was working with, I got really into that stuff at the museum, and I had what they call a mentor, and I worked alongside him at the museum for 8
This
months.
is a bunch of stuff I had no idea about with Mr. Jolly.
And written records and stuff. I did that for 4 months, and then he helped me write a paper. Right?
Fun fact. I was doing maintenance over the summer with Mr. Jolly when he was still one of the maintenance men. And it was actually the summer before I would start teaching at FCS. And there was an opening in the middle school, and he actually switched from being maintenance to being a teacher. And we had no idea that whole summer he was going to become a teacher. And so we actually both started teaching at FCS the same year. That's pretty cool.
I don't think I'm ready to put forth that kind of effort, or at least
I also always sit next to him in orientation week. We sit in the front next to each other.
Not to downplay any other PhDs or advanced degrees, but like your literature and your history and your language, like those things are like some of the few academic degrees that are left, like where you're really pushed to produce something in your own words. Like a lot of other stuff, you don't have to do as much writing. Like my daughter just got her master's, and she didn't have to do nearly as much writing as she had to do. She minored in history, and she said this was getting her master's was easier than her minor in history because you write a lot in history, and you gotta be ready for that, you know. So I'm not ready for that.
So when you say you didn't like school, did you like not like anything, or did you like history while you were in school?
I liked history, but okay. So when you were talking about the 80s and early 90s, and school back then was rows, and history was you walk in and the guy turned on the overhead projector and there's a million notes and you just copy the notes and you study. That was history. So I didn't like that. I liked watching videos like on TV, like documentaries, and I liked reading my own books that me and my dad would have. So I loved history, but even history at that time was not fun. Nothing was fun. The only thing that was fun was I took criminal justice in high school, and I thought I was going to do that as a career, but I ended up not doing that. I went and I did that in college for a little bit, but then I stopped because I didn't want to do that for a living. But the whole thing of criminal justice was interesting. And then 1 year, my 11th grade teacher in language arts, that was amazing. I don't remember the guy's name, but we went over the Canterbury Tales, Macbeth, and the way he did it, this was like regular English, and so it's not like we were like no one cared about being in English. Like it was like that type of thing. Like it was tough for a bunch of 16, 17-year-olds to care about Macbeth and Canterbury Tales.
Right.
A great job, and I'll never forget that because it was so interesting and so fun. Again, probably because there's like a historical aspect of it. And then the Canterbury Tales, I'll never forget this, is like there's a lot of these little stories that help talk about medieval England at the time. So you have like the priest's tale. So, but that's like a viewpoint of a priest who's like kind of rich and working in the church, and he's wearing like fine clothes, and he's kind of like a hypocrite. And then there's the friar, the guy that walks around with like sandals and a sackcloth, and he's got a rope for a belt, and he's poor, but he's a real man of God, and he's out in the streets with the real people, like with the poor people. So it was like thing. I was like, man, this is amazing. And then there's one called the squire, and it doesn't get finished because the squire is like he's like the servant of the knight. Everyone wants to hear about the knights. And it's all like made up. It's like not good or interesting. And the squire's got this awesome like fairy tale that he's selling, and every time he tries to tell, he gets interrupted, so he never gets to finish it. But I'm like, man, I'd like to know what the rest of the story was. So, and he that teacher encouraged us to like finish the story. So
you guys got to make your own ending.
Yes,
that's cool.
I don't remember what I put it, but I remember that in particular was cool. So I like that kind of stuff. A lot of stuff was, I couldn't focus because if you have me in my class, it's like if there's more than one person talking to me, I don't do well with that. I think I don't have focus issues, I guess, because I couldn't grasp mathematical concepts. And then history was boring, language was boring, chemistry was boring. So,
but yeah, you figured out a way to learn.
Yes, but that a lot of that came. I didn't realize that until I went back to college in my 30s.
Yeah. And
when I went back there and I was taking the class with that guy that I said was my mentor, that when you get the syllabus, no tests, no quizzes, 3 papers.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna do for 4 months is 3 papers. I was like, oh,
It's a shock when you go to college and it's like that.
I'm in control of my destiny. I'm gonna research this. I'm gonna write what I have to say about this. I'm gonna do my thing. And it was empowering. Whereas before it was like, here, write the stuff down and then memorize it. What happens if you can't memorize? What happens if you're busy? What's happening if you're having a bad day and you're just not in the right mindset to memorize 50 things? Well, they were telling you, well, you're not smart, you know, because you don't have a good memory. And that's one of the things that I took into my view of teaching is like, let's take away the memorization aspect of it as much as possible. Give these kids a chance to at least articulate what they've learned, even if it's like, okay, I kind of understand what you're saying, and they tell you pretty good, but they just don't remember the name. That's cool because a lot of people struggle with names. Like I got 2 coaches out there that they coach, who's this? They're bad with names. If you're bad with names and you have to memorize names for a history, you're in trouble. But if you could talk about what they did, and then you can look it up in the book, you can look it up on your phone, you can look it up on your computer. Then the idea of memorizing is intelligence is not true. And
This is a pretty interesting discussion. You know, I don't know if I totally agree or disagree.
That's the thing that
But yeah, there's something to be said about, you know, philosophy of education.
Ask some better questions that forces them to really internalize. So instead of like memorizing,
Like, does memorizing stuff mean you're smart?
Where would you rather live? And then they have to answer it that way, and you get a better sense of what they know by that question than having them do a matching section with a word bank. You know? Yeah.
You know, how should people be assessed that they're actually learning something? It's a fascinating topic.
But they can tell you all about Sparta.
They can apply it to
Yes.
better than they can memorize.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you think so.
So
I think I rambled on that one.
That's okay. That's what the show's about.
Football.
Yeah, I
Football.
thought so.
I played baseball, but as I got older, I didn't realize it that I think it was my eyesight because I played softball. Like I couldn't hit anything as I got older. As the boys got older and they could throw faster, I was having problems connecting with the ball. And then even softball, I wasn't having even that's a big ball and I couldn't do it. But then when I got contacts,
Wow.
I was able to play softball again and I could keep my eye on the ball and things like that. So I think it was a combination of bad eyesight and then just I just wasn't meant to play baseball because I couldn't see the ball. Like by the time I see it,
Wow.
it's too late. And you played softball, and it's like you have half a second to get that going. So
So you say football?
It's true.
'cause that's something that I could do without good eyesight. It's like, hey, line up and hit that guy. Cool, I'm down.
Okay, so what was your dream job in, like when you were younger, like middle school, high school?
So middle school, I can't even. Okay, so in middle school, me and a couple friends, we learned programming called Basic A, and it was like it's a rudimentary programming language. Like obviously not used anymore, but it was like 10 go to 20, 20, and then you could program stuff. So we programmed little games like text games, and then
Yeah.
pictures that we drew on the computer would pop up every once in a while. And we made a couple games that were functional, and we thought, oh, that'd be awesome to make games. And we really tried to really get good at this programming. And then I realized the same for me because there's a lot of math involved, and then I was
Yeah.
confused. So that
It's
wasn't-
really complicated.
Then I just like I said, I was kind of I was kind of like wayward in the fact of like what am I going to do with my life? Because I thought I was going to be criminal justice. I thought I was going to do something in that field.
Yeah.
And then when I got to college, this is the early 90s. There's no internet, and I had to take a criminal investigation class and you get a big textbook of it was crime scene investigation, and there's a lot of like full color photographs of crime scenes, and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to see this for the rest of my life. You're talking about like you have to like study these pictures of like dead people. Like,
Yeah.
not just dead people who died peacefully in their bed. No, people who got murdered and they got
Yeah.
they got in a horrific accident at work. It's like was it intentional? Like I was like I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life. So that went out the door. Really
Yeah.
in my teens.
It definitely requires a
And then I was
special
like, "Oh, I don't wanna do this for
person.
the rest of my life. That's not how I grow. So
Yeah.
then I got married and we had kids and things. Like I said, I was working. I worked in construction for a while and I didn't like it, but put money in the pocket and food on the table. And then, like I said, church, Sunday school kind of infected me with this idea that maybe you could teach.
Mm.
When did you start teaching Sunday school? How old are you?
34, 35.
And then you were like, oh, I want to teach.
Yeah, because I got a lot of positive feedback. I got a lot of positive feedback from, and I was doing adult classes, I was doing kids and stuff, so I got a lot of positive feedback from all the people that
Cool.
I was quote unquote teaching at the time. And I felt weird because I felt like really ill-equipped because I would ask like a lot of questions, but I guess in hindsight, I was doing the Socrative method where I was asking questions and so
Socratic.
But yeah, I got a lot of positive feedback, and I thought like maybe God wants me to get into teaching, and I prayed about it. And Mr. King, we were doing a visitation one Wednesday. And I told him, hey, I think God's telling me I should get into teaching. He says, well, you gotta get your degree. I'll never forget because it was raining that day. And we're waiting for someone to get home. I said, maybe God doesn't mean that because I was like, I don't want to go back to school. But then, long story short, I did it. Right?
I'm glad.
Thank you.
Okay, now this is like less deep. What's
Okay.
your favorite candy?
I'm gonna have to say Reese's Pieces or Reese's peanut butter cups, but not the mini cups because the chocolate sticks to the wrapper, and I can't stand it. It's got to be either a full-size Reese's peanut butter cup or the Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
The mini cups, I'm not saying they're not good, but it bothers me that I can't get all the chocolate.
That's true. That's true.
So some sort of Reese's peanut butter.
I think I've thought that too. I guess I just never like vocalized
I like
it.
it. It's cool. I mean, I don't obsess over it, but I certainly like it. But I don't obsess over it either. It's like it's there. I'll eat it.
Okay, now healthier. What's your favorite fruit or vegetable?
Granny Smith apples is my favorite fruit. It's a sour green apple. And once, like for me, once I had those, like no other apple would do it because the sour aspect of it. I don't know, man. It's not that I don't like other apples or anything, but it's like
That one beats
yeah,
the
it's too everything's too plain. All the other apples are too plain now.
Yeah.
That sour of a taste. So that's my fruit. My favorite vegetable is asparagus.
I don't like asparagus.
Really? Oh, what do you like then?
Like broccoli, probably. It's probably my favorite vegetable.
Okay, so I don't like broccoli. I'll eat the stem part of
Broccoli's
broccoli.
better than asparagus, in my opinion.
The asparagus aspect or the leafy part of the asparagus doesn't bother me, whereas the leafy part of the broccoli I don't like. So
No, I'll eat the leafy part of the asparagus, but I won't eat the bottom of it.
I'll eat the bottom part of the broccoli, but not the leaf. So that's funny that we're opposite that way.
Yeah, that is kind of funny.
They are.
Okay, well they're fruit, and then I'll eat them as an addition to something. So I like them diced. I like them on tacos, salsa. There can be chunks of it in the salsa, and I'll eat it. I like ketchup. I'll eat tomato sauce, but I don't like chunks of tomato in my spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, me either.
For whatever reason, I do not like warm tomato chunks. I cannot stand them. But everything else is fine. But I won't eat them raw. Like,
You won't eat a
Warm,
tomato?
no,
warm
not
tomato.
as an apple. My daughter will eat it.
An apple. I
No.
will eat a tomato as an apple.
That's.
So will my daughter, and that, I mean, I don't know why it just doesn't appeal to me, but she'll eat them like in the little ones.
I like how specific it is.
Those little tiny apples, or those tomatoes.
Yeah.
She eats them like candy.
Like,
I'm like,
I would
okay.
too. They're really good. So if you were a celebrity, what would you want to be famous for?
Famous for? I don't know. I'd have to think. I think being an actor would be cool. There's certain things that like it'd be cool to be in Star Wars, like something like that. So I don't know, like an actor in like Star Wars or something like that, or even an extra. Fun.
Just
Yeah.
one of the people watching.
Yeah, for sure. So probably something like that.
All right. And last question: what is the weirdest, best, funniest thing that's ever happened to you in a classroom? Just something that was so like stood out.
I can't remember whose class it was. It was when you guys were in 6th grade. I can't remember who it was. They were talking about L or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but all I know is that they were saying, and they were struggling to say what they were going to say. And I think it was Alejandro or somebody in your class says, "Man, you need to take this L." And it just caught me off guard. And it's not good to laugh at that kind of stuff when kids are like roasting each other in class as a teacher. And it was one of those moments. It caught me off guard. And I was like, dude, that was so funny. This kid really wrecked this other kid. And then that was it. Like I was like, man, that's not nice. But I was like, once the teacher laughs, it's cat's out of the bag. So
That's
that
true.
doesn't happen often, but every once in a while,
That's
I can
true.
say a zinger, and it just catches me off guard, and I'm like, oof, I was so raw, and because the kid was literally trying to say something with an L, and said, man, you need to take this L, and I was just like, wow. So that one stands out because I literally laughed at that one, and as teachers were not supposed to laugh, we're supposed to correct, and that time they got me.
Yeah.
Right, so that's it. And this was the very first episode of Just Because. Special thanks to Mr. Jolly for joining us today. And tune in next time to get to know another teacher. Only here on Just Because.
Bye.
In school, have a lightsaber fight. 2, 1, go. First hit loses.
Okay. Got the hand in front of the camera there. Why is this one portrait? This should 100% be landscape.
The question is, who will win?
Yeah, shout out to that girl covering her face as she crossed by.
Come on. Oh, step. Was that a hit though? Wait, that was a good hit. Alright. You want round 1? Alright. Round 2. Alright, there's only 3 rounds, alright? Round 1 it is. We'll do round 2 with someone else.
I don't know what the point of this video is.
He's gonna take his crown. Oh, wow. Come on, Frank.
Yeah, it's honestly disappointing that this isn't landscape. I like how we have bloopers in this video. It's like I felt there were plenty of bloopers while we were watching.
He broke my lightsaber. Yeah, it's pretty clear. Yeah, Frank, you won. Gosh, dude. We gotta stop doing that with my lightsaber. That's exactly. Yo, chill. Yo, Frank, bro, what you waiting?
Written out at FCS_media.
And today we're gonna be talking about a little bit about the FCS life and how stuff have changed this year. And my name is Isaac Menendez. I've been in this school since I was a little kid, since like 4K, and I've always been here my whole life. But Josh,
This kid's like a loser. He's been here his whole life. I've been.
Oh, I actually fixed up the title. I put back to school because this episode didn't even have an episode title.
I went to Westwood Christian School.
do you like it better than FCS? Like no shade, of course. But.
FCS honestly has really improved throughout the years. I think this year is looking very promising. Westwood was like low key really bad school. Like it wasn't.
Hey, don't trash another school.
Yeah, like, it wasn't
We
as good as this one.
okay.
This one's much bigger and like has more resources and stuff. So yeah.
We definitely shouldn't be saying that on a public podcast. So yeah, edit that out.
This is the first one.
Yeah, like the new uniforms. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan. Like the shorts length.
I'm okay. It's okay if you guys want to say your opinions about stuff at the school. There are certain things that cross the line, though, like saying Westwood is a bad school. Yeah, that's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, that's too far.
And like on the waist, the problem would be like it's like so like big that there's just no point in trying the shorts. That's why my friends they just wear the pants and yeah.
The shirts have definitely.
But it's okay to give honest feedback of what the school, like constructive criticism, or what the school is changing and doing.
Sweaters have like improved a lot. Like the new sweaters this
yeah,
year.
I've been trying to buy one.
And these are your views. It's not like these are FCS Media's official position on these issues.
I wore a sweater like every single day, and I did not even like that sweater that much.
Yeah, like before last year, I thought the only cool sweaters were like the baseball sweaters.
I like the football sweaters. Football sweaters cool.
But like this year, the new crew necks are really nice. All the sweaters are really nice. Like it's a nice material. It's like comfortable. Not too
and
bad.
I feel like with the old high school shirts.
It also, if you're honest about your opinions, it also makes when you compliment something, it makes me appreciate that opinion more, because it's like, oh, they're being for real. They're being honest about all their opinions. So when they say they like something, they actually mean it. So that's good. Let your yes be yes. Let your no be no.
But with the different colors, like at least you have a little more variety to match with like other stuff. Like let's say you have like some like really nice shoes, let's say UNC Dunks, right? If you have those, you can match with that, the baby blue shirt.
Yeah.
But now there's only red, white, and blue, and I feel like I really don't like that there's like barely any color options. Like I don't know if there's like any specific reasoning towards it, like if there's something happening.
I personally like that it's red, white, and blue, gray, and black.
You sweat a lot less. I feel like because with the old ones, I did not like them because that material made me sweat.
I don't know what the material is like, because I'm not using that.
Like to be honest, like when
polo.
You don't really feel it unless you like pay attention. But after you put it on, you don't notice after like a minute. But yeah, that's a good take, I guess. Like the sweating, I did notice like it doesn't really like your shirts don't really like stay wet, I guess.
Because it dries.
Yeah, but.
And what about the new teachers? How do you feel about the new teachers?
The new teachers, honestly, oh my gosh, Mr. Cayley. I love Mr. Cayley, bro. I cannot tell you how much I love this man. But the new teachers this year,
Mr. Cayley.
I think most of my teachers are new. The only
My homie.
previous years is like Mr.
Aguilar, the science teacher.
Yeah, I think that's like
Aguilar.
He's so nice. Like he's such a sweet guy.
He's nice.
And he's good at teaching too. Like he's good at his job. Like I don't really know like the new teachers that well. Like cause
Mr. Aguilar is my homie too.
So like I don't have like really no specific takes. I like Mr. Ardua. Mr. Ardua seems like a very nice, respectful man, and I love the way he teaches his Bible, and it's very interesting.
I got Miss Sumler first period. Do you have Miss Sumler?
I have Miss Sumler in my for geometry, right? Yeah, I have her in third.
Miss Sumler is
she's
like
she's so energetic. Like
character.
Like she's so good at like if you're like quiet, you know, like she'll like make you happy. Like she'll make these funny jokes. Like today, I was like I didn't know what number my pocket.
If these teachers heard this, they'd be super encouraged.
Anyone else has like your phone in your pocket. But yeah.
Okay.
It's a dad joke.
Yeah,
it wasn't
she makes a lot of dad jokes.
Yeah, but she's still sweet.
She's really sweet. Like and her methods of teaching like actually work.
They're good, yeah.
Like I'm actually learning stuff in her class. Like right now it's really only review, but she has like a good attitude. Like she's not like one of those mean teachers that hates her job. Like you can tell that like she work and like she has fun teaching. That's like what she wants to do.
Yeah.
I think I have Miss G. Do you have Miss G? No,
Miss for Bible?
No, I have Miss G. Because Mr. Mesa got like.
Oh yeah.
So
That's like not talking about that.
Yeah, but who else? We got Mr. Cayley.
Yeah, that's another thing that we wouldn't talk. Which that's good that you guys cut it off, but like I wouldn't even mention it. I would just edit
she is super nice. She's super
that
sweet.
out.
What about the electives and pathways?
The electives, I'm in drama and media, and drama so far, I'm in advanced drama, so it's like all high school, and it seems like it's gonna be a good year for drama.
I feel like I understand how like there's a bunch of new pathways, but the one thing that I don't like about it is that everything feels so spread out now. Like I'll have a class in like the MC building, then go like it was probably less before, but like with my friends.
It was less before.
Because there's so many different classes now, and like there's so many different things that people are taking.
There's like now we have to travel like all around the school, but I think that's just like a high school thing.
It could be like it was obviously our first year of high school, but the new pathways I think would have like some
Yeah.
because there's so many more like options.
It's more of a high school thing, but it has gotten better. Like they've literally moved teachers that were in certain rooms for years to other places so that they could all be next to each other.
So drama, we're I think I can give away a little sneak peek. We're deciding on the fall musical between Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella, and I think most of the
That'll be interesting. So like we'll have like one of those what's it called, a matinee? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, matinee, and then most of the class is leaning towards Beauty and the Beast, and I think it would make.
It was Beauty and the Beast and what?
And Cinderella.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast would definitely be better.
Beauty and
Cinderella's
the
kind of boring.
Beast, yeah, but I don't really like musicals to be honest. So I don't know.
I don't like. I do not like musicals.
I don't like being in musicals because like the pressure of singing is like so like
I forgot. Since you're in drama, you have to sing too.
Yeah, like last year I was in the high school musical,
yeah.
and like I got like the only 2 non-speaking parts because Miss Bryan and I are buddies like that.
Non-singing parts.
Josh, you don't gotta have to sing, and it was actually really fun.
And like another thing I was talking about the pathways is I do not like.
Josh actually did a good job last year.
Yeah, sea lunch. Sea lunch is so
it's
like
not good at all.
In a High School Musical, that is.
Like you don't get that much time to eat, and like number 2, it's not just like the time. Like you're separated from your friends. Like the only time where you have like you have a real.
The lunchroom stuff is pretty funny. I heard a little bit of this part before.
And also like you have to eat like a snack. If you don't eat a snack,
Oh yeah, I mean I really haven't eaten snacks, but like I feel like there's a hole in my stomach, bro. Like
yeah, like every day after my 4th period, I like have to buy like something from the vending machine, like a little like granola bar or something to like get me to lunch because our lunch is at like 1 o'clock. And
isn't it at 1:10?
Doesn't matter. Like 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
around there, and like by 1 o'clock, imagine you're like
dying.
You're eating at like 7 in the morning.
You wake up at 7 a.m. Then you have to. Like, I don't even eat breakfast. I don't have time for breakfast.
I eat breakfast I always eat
No,
breakfast.
I've like never eaten breakfast. The only time I've like eaten breakfast like if there was an SAT, but that's not even good because like I'm not used to it. Because I don't have time. Like,
yeah, I hear that excuse.
I skip breakfast. No, I skip it intentionally.
Like 10 minutes.
I rather sleep and have time to sleep.
But it's 10 minutes and you get to eat.
But like if you're sleeping, right, and let's say like whatever you were doing last night, you want to sleep by 1 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Would you really want to wake up just to eat food?
But you're not going to sleep every single night at 1 a.m.
Okay,
like,
but
on
in that one.
But
that's
like
true,
every
I
other
guess.
day.
I guess that's true. But like it's like you have to feel more rushed because you have to do like when I wake up in the morning. I live pretty far from school. I live like kind of near FIU, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I wake up at like 6:50. Like I brush my teeth. Obviously, if you don't brush your teeth, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Wait,
but
do you brush your teeth before or after you eat breakfast? Oh wait, never mind.
I mean, I don't eat breakfast. But
Never mind.
Before, really. I don't like brushing my teeth before I eat breakfast because then like my mouth feels so dirty. Like after I eat breakfast.
I feel like I brush them before because when you wake up, you have like that bad taste, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like the food tastes weird. People say, oh, the mint taste makes the food taste worse, but like I feel like that like it's worse when it's like you have like a bad breath.
I don't really know.
And I wish our school like none of the classes let us eat like have a snack in class.
Because Mr. King like it has a new rule where like no one can eat in class.
No, that's been a rule. That's been a rule. It's not a new
and
thing.
You have like a snack, you know, if you're hungry. And it was like in the middle, like at 3rd period, it was a snack. You could have something if you're like starving, obviously. But, like and like back then, we didn't even need it as much because we didn't have sea lunch. We'd go to lunch at 12:40. No.
Yeah, in middle school it was earlier.
11:40, I think it was.
Maybe no. What time did we had?
11:40 or 11:45.
Whatever lunch we had.
Yeah.
I think it was after 4th period. So 4th period ends.
So yeah, after 4th period. 4th period ends at 4th period ends
so
like
15 minutes earlier.
15 minutes earlier. So obviously like we're not as hungry. So like of course your body's gonna adjust eventually. But I do not like sea lunch at all. I wish if there's any way because I don't think they separated enough. Because I had friends in psychology that they used to be in sea lunch and they moved that to B lunch. And I know they're not gonna like to my needs. Oh, I want sea lunch. Give me sea lunch. I mean B lunch. I'm sorry. I want B lunch. Give me B lunch. But I know they're not gonna do that because like I would love for me to be put in B lunch. That'd be amazing. I'd be with like all my friends. And
Yeah.
I had to get to eat earlier, of course.
I think one of the bigger problems with sea lunch is that like we're freshmen, right? And like there's all these high schoolers that literally the line cutting is so.
Oh yeah,
insane.
line cutting is amazing.
The line
It's
cutting
crazy.
is
Yeah, the
I'll
line.
admit, I do it too. I'll admit.
When I notice people line cutting, I try to call people out, but there's no way. And I'm just doing it like while I'm in there getting my stuff.
Mr. Mesa was like the peace control out there. Like, the thing. Like he always had it like pretty organized. I don't know if it's just because we had like a normal.
No, but Mr.
lunch.
Mesa only did it for middle school. He
Oh, the line cutting to get in.
Like, it takes so long to get your food, and like now there's like no food left. Like I'm walking into the cafeteria and I always eat burgers because that's like the only.
Yeah, because that's the only thing you have time
and then
for.
there's no burgers, and I don't want to get.
And like another thing with sea lunch that I haven't mentioned is like it's like at the middle of the day, like the ends at the last lunch. You have A, B, C.
So by
The-
then
all the food is gone.
Exactly, they ran out of all the food.
Exactly.
And, like the line for the hot lunch is
Is
like
insanely
another 10
long,
minutes.
and then let me get into another thing with the cutting. You have teachers cutting you, like, oh sweetie,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I skipped you.
Oh, sweetie.
Make sure I have like my education, of course, but it's still annoying with the cutting, obviously.
Yeah, and then there's like some kids that like don't have money in their account,
And then that makes the line take even
it's, like,
longer.
The blockage and like some.
Like they call their parents. Like, I've done it too.
Yeah. Like I just have my card on file, like.
They call their parents. Oh, mom, can I have money in my account? I don't have anything. Like do that before school, like please, or after school. Do it online. Then you have money in your account forever.
Yeah.
Buy whatever you want.
Yeah, seriously. Like.
We did a skit. We did a skit on the line to get into the lunchroom.
Like starting.
Like a starting school at like 9 o'clock in the morning instead of 8 o'clock.
That's interesting because the problem with that we get out of school at 4.
Yeah, but
you get more sleep.
I think you get more sleep. You stay up later because you can wake up later, and like you don't really need that extra hour after school anyway. Like you make it up.
No, as soon as I get home, I eat and I sleep. Last night I took a nap from like 4 to 8.
Yeah, but like you eat healthier, or you eat like.
And like the day's brighter, so like you wake up like
yeah.
I guess that's kind of there is like I've had friends who like went to school like that had like that.
Yeah,
And what do you think about like if our school had a block schedule?
I think I want to.
Like 2 hour classes, you'd really sit in class for 2 hours?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I think block schedule is like I would prefer block schedule. To be
Block schedule is cool for specific classes. With other classes, it is really tough.
That's actually true.
Because the homework can't be due the next day because you don't have the teacher the next
Like
day.
for example, I think media would all the art classes would be great with a block schedule because you just have longer time, consecutive time, to work on like a project or
I hate
something.
when I have a test first thing in the morning. That's
the first
terrible.
class, I have math first period.
I had math
and
last year first period. It
it
wasn't
is-
that bad, honestly.
I
though.
literally cannot pay attention. I'm like just out of it
You're
the
just-
entire class. And like on top of that, there's like our math class has like sophomores that are like joking around all class. So I'm like, it's a struggle to like be paying attention. In class. Like, it's still, I love that class still, but like sometimes I'm just so out of it because I'm like drinking coffee in the morning because I'm not like a coffee person.
You drink coffee in the
No, I
morning?
don't drink coffee. I don't really like the taste of
I,
coffee.
I like coffee. Like if I go to Starbucks, I'll get like a white chocolate. I forgot what it's called.
If I go to Starbucks, I'm getting like banana bread and some chocolate milk, bro. I'm not even.
I
Gonna
love
lie. banana bread. Is so
about,
good.
about the lunch here. I wish there was more options. Like,
Banana bread and chocolate milk. That sounds really good, actually. I've never gotten that at Starbucks. Either of those. Well, maybe banana bread, not chocolate milk though.
Because our school, like back then, it was smaller. That lunch site, the cafeteria was good. But now the school's like expanded so much. Like you need more space for a cafeteria. And with that, they could like eventually add like more options, like a food court. Honestly, like that's crazy. That's a crazy idea. I don't think that could happen. I don't know where they'd have space for a bigger cafeteria. But like it's just like something like a thought, you know, that could happen.
I mean, I'm actually really grateful for our lunch because I've been like telling friends. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no,
we
public
have
school's
sushi.
terrible.
I'm like, yeah, we have sushi every Thursday. They're like, what? You get sushi? I'm like, yeah. On top of that, we get every Wednesday. We have Chick-fil-A. They're like, bro, there's literally no way. And like, it's the lunch, I think we have really good stuff. But just like if you
Yeah,
switch from having two things
that's good. I like that these guys put perspective on the cafeteria situation because it is so bad elsewhere.
Yeah,
and
Wednesday
then, like,
Chick-fil-A,
and then they have like
Thursday
chicken
sushi,
nuggets,
Friday's pizza.
So if they just had like different choices for like the burgers. Like if they had something else instead of burgers, but like that's there.
Or like a
every
separate, like
day.
an option that's there every day. What
Yeah.
could that be? What do you think that could be?
This is
I don't know. It'd have to be like something like
this is a really relatable podcast because it's talking about like the day-to-day life at FCS. I really like that. So
Like what do you think's like a healthy?
we'll see how. I don't know if they're gonna continue the show,
Yeah,
They have salad. I didn't even know.
but
salads.
really bad.
yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here.
At the school for like 3 years. You should know that by now.
I seriously had no idea. I was about to grab a
What's
fruit
this? What's this arrow doing here?
Probably much better.
Bro, how does school
Like
feel
what?
more? How do you like this?
What is it pointing at? And then here it's like, oh, do I click on the 3 dots?
Yeah, I like.
Oop,
I like.
I
this
paused
school
it by
so much.
accident.
I've been having fun in all my classes. I know like school's not meant to have fun, but like still.
No, it is.
The
Like,
teachers are like making it more fun for the kids. I don't know if it's like a high school thing or like the new teachers, but I'm having fun in all my classes. Like I feel like I'm learning more this year. Like I feel like I'll be much more productive this year. Like I don't know, like it just feels better. Like I'm having fun this year. Like last year I hated
last year,
year.
honestly, I loved last year. Like
I
last
did
year
not
was
have a good time last
amazing
year.
for me, and like I made a bunch of new friends. Like cause in 7th grade, like I was online. Like I didn't really have friends. But
I was your friend online.
Yeah, we just play games.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like when school was over and stuff.
Mhm.
But 8th grade, I made a bunch of new friends. I met a lot of new people. It was fun, and I had a lot of fun that year. And like 9th grade, I guess like just redoing that. I love the football games. I love the events that the school has, and like I'm really thankful for that. I'm really thankful for that. I can go to a Christian school, obviously.
Yeah.
That we can like talk about God and not like have to worry and like not be like restricted to what we say and not be silenced, obviously.
What do you
Yep.
think about the like every Tuesday we have like the free period, like the study hall?
I think that's a great idea.
I thought that I love that
'Cause
idea.
It's like that's just I don't know who thought of that, but I thank them for it. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like what if you like forgot to do your
I think
homework
Mr.
and,
King might have
I
come
like
up
way
with
too
it.
fast
or
in
what
it.
if like next period you have a test that you need to study for?
It just gives you like
Maybe.
a
I don't know.
free period every Tuesday.
You do your
and
homework
just,
never finished.
like
something
every like you can just do your first period's homework. Or
I think it's cool. I don't know what it's going, how it's going for other
Like,
people,
that's
but
literally
for
what
me,
we
it's
did.
been
Like, we
good.
had free
The
period
enrichment
Tuesday, and I
period.
just did math in it because I have math first period, and I thought it's very helpful. Very helpful. Like all the kids that like need to catch up on something. Like it's very good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright.
Well, I hope you enjoyed me and Josh ranting a little bit about our school.
Yeah.
The couple changes.
I
a couple
did.
few side topics
Thank
we
you.
discussed around. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Hello and good day to my listeners. You are listening to
All
Florida
right,
Christian
here we
School's
go.
one and only source of news, updates, and concerns considering the Russian invasion
So
of
this thumbnail is
Now, I am the
legit.
one and only
Like the
host,
video
Preston
is legit a
Kyle, happy to
square.
bring to you all the latest. Now, before we begin with our pilot episode of The Pain in Ukraine, I would like to offer a small warning of discretion. My program is not necessarily for the faint of heart or the young. If you are not in high school or above, I recommend you to stop listening at this moment and to tune in to a later episode, as I will cover very heavy subjects such as war and heavy losses of life. Now, I advise you now, and will give you a short time to do so.
Okay,
All right,
respect.
time's up. So let's get back to our pilot episode. Now, today, I'd
By
like
the
to share
way,
with you the plot of how every episode
real
is
quick,
gonna run from here
I'm
on
gonna
out.
pause it real
So,
quick.
At the start,
Real quick. Look at the description. Welcome to the pilot episode. Oops. I was moving the screen by accident. Welcome to the pilot episode. Sit back and pay attention, maggot.
For about 10 to 12 minutes, we will cover news updates and anything in late that has happened as of recent. And then for the last 10 minutes, we will cover frontline changes and military dilemmas on both sides.
Look
Now,
at that
throughout
agenda.
both segments, I will offer my 2 cents, and be sure when you listen to what I have to say to take everything with a grain of salt, because my sources may be inaccurate, outdated, or just plain wrong. In case you're wondering, my sources are some very reliable, first-hand people in Ukraine, such as civilians, pilots, and frontline soldiers who have been interviewed, and also many Ukrainian governmental sites for frontlines and military equipment. Now, without any further ado,
Okay.
let us begin.
Okay.
To begin, Boris Johnson has released in a statement that he, alongside the rest of the British government, will not recognize any territory occupied by Russians in Ukraine. This includes Crimea. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is quite hard to determine what exactly he means by this. This can either be a peaceful claim or a war cry. Because, unfortunately, no matter what happens, Russians are where Russians are, and the troops remain where the troops remain. So, with this in mind, it may be very difficult for any real, I guess you could say, sovereignty to this statement. I guess all this really does offer for the Ukrainian people is a sense of hope and security. But this is very good news out of Britain. As a supporter of Ukraine myself, and possible volunteer in the near future, I thank you very much, United Kingdom, and I pray that you will be safe throughout all of this. Now, continuing to some news outside of Ukraine, Finland and Sweden are a few steps closer to joining NATO, as now only 5 countries remain to certify their accession. Remaining only now are as of late, 2 countries have decided to join the 30-member alliance of certifying Finland and Sweden, this being Spain and Portugal, who have been long since allies of the 2 northern nations. Now, should Finland and Sweden be accessed into NATO, Russia will now have another 800-kilometer border with the alliance, allowing troops on both sides to be placed on the Finnish-Russian border. Now, the general sentiment of Finnish and Swedish people of this, ever since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, has yet but increased, as every day, more and more Finnish and Swedish people are joining the military. They are one of the fastest-growing militaries in the world, so let's be sure to look out for them and make sure they're safe. Continuing further, Ukraine has released in a statement on their Independence Day, which is 2 days ago, that no matter how big, how strong, or how
If you say 2 days ago, since we're listening to the podcast at a later date, you should just say what the date is.
And as much as I wish we could, should not be taken with any real sovereignty, and it is just simply a call for action and a call to greater increase the will and the might of the people. So, moving on also with Independence Day, to our surprise, there were no major Russian attacks. Instead, however, there were very, very minor frontline changes that did not even affect Ukraine in a negative way. And continuing further, the United States has just approved a $2 billion package to be sent to Ukraine. This $2 billion package includes, oh wait a minute, here it comes, a HIMARS mention. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a part of the show where a HIMARS system is mentioned, that we will have a special time to recognize and honor this beautiful military might, which is the HIMARS system. Oh, I love the HIMARS system. People really underestimate this system here in the States, but in Ukraine, these systems, which are so cheap yet so precise, have proven so many victories for the Ukrainian people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's
What does it even do?
HIMARS news of the day. Ukraine will be receiving an additional 15 HIMARS. That's right, 15. As if the 20 they have is not enough. Now, if you ask me, that is a very impressive feat, and we should be very glad that our government has decided to do this, because the Ukrainian people have proven and still will prove that they can make very great use of very little. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these HIMARS are going to be game changers with this amount, because even the smallest and the
What is a
largest
HIMAR? What is that?
or too large will be absolutely decimated by just 2 HIMARS systems. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are
Oh, it's spelled like high Mars.
the city of
Hold up.
Kherson has never been readier. Conditions are never better. Ladies and gentlemen, a second D-Day is upon us. Forgive my enthusiasm. I am very passionate about this subject. But on the topic of Kherson, another bridge segment of Antonovsky Bridge has been blown. Now, Antonovsky Bridge was important, as in the early days of the war, it was the only way Russian troops could occupy Kherson. Now, it was scheduled to be destroyed before the war due to structural indifference.
High mobility artillery rocket system. Okay.
The government refused to have it destroyed, therefore proving detrimental to the Ukrainian army and government. Now, we are not to fear, as the bridge is near destruction and can no longer be used as of today. Now, there are many other bridges, such as along the Novakhovka Dam and the Darivka Bridge, which have also been destroyed by Ukrainian forces, therefore trapping the Russians. That's it for Kherson. Let's move now down south to Crimea. Now, as you may have seen,
What I would do is on the screen of this part show a map of where this stuff is happening. Because honestly, for us Americans, we don't know where a lot of this stuff is, like relative to each other.
as it was a Bayraktar, which is a Turkish-made drone well known for being very high quality. Yet this is also very, very, very good for the Ukrainian.
Or like when you were describing the HIMARS,
With this base gone,
Like if you showed a picture on the screen, it would be more obvious what it is.
any of their naval units in the Black Sea. This will be a game changer once again for Ukraine, as southern liberation of the country seems more and more and more predominant. Now,
And make sure you put chapters by putting the timestamps in the description with each topic titled next to it. I can show you how to do that really easy. And make sure you look at that document I was saying of the different expectations for a podcast.
All right, one last bit of news outside of Ukraine. Germany has officially cut off all ties to the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, a pipeline that would pump numerous amounts of gas and oil and energy into German territory. With it gone and out of Russia, or German control out of Russia from Nord Stream 2, both economies are going to suffer. Yet in the end, this will prove very beneficial to Ukraine, as the new Prime Minister, Olaf Swanson, has said. So that concludes the news segment of our podcast. We are now going to move into some frontline changes. Now, let us begin with the city of Pisky in the south near the city of Donetsk. Now, the city of Pisky has had a very interesting situation throughout the war. In the early stages of the war, it was occupied by Russian forces. Then it was freed once again by Ukrainians. And then a second time, the Russians came and took the village. And then once again, and ever since, the Ukrainians have had firm control of the city. Now, because of Pisky, the Ukrainian Defense Line, or UDF, has been key and crucial in the center of defending much of central Ukraine and further Russian advance. Now, for those of you who do not know, the UDF is Ukraine's main defense line across many, many, many kilometers of land. Do I know the exact mileage? I am no kilometerist. I don't know. So, pretty much with this front line, Ukrainians are kept safe every single day, and Pisky has now become a crucial part of this front line. Now, part of this front line is at lower.
Like I was saying with the other podcasts, I like you've got to have people who are passionate about what they're talking about. And you can tell from this podcast, from the one we just listened to, the people were passionate about and interested in what they were talking about. And that's something that I want to listen to. I don't want to listen to people who aren't passionate about what they're doing.
Closer to the city. Now, ladies and gentlemen, should Ukraine take the city back from Russia, Russia will lose many of its frontline command in the Eastern Front. Because without this city and its military base, many troops will be left in huge disarray, in fact, more than they already are, and they will be left leaderless and defenseless. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is our absolute duty that we help Ukraine in freeing the city of Izium, because it will prove very, very beneficial and very, very definite in helping free the whole country. Now, unfortunately, we have some bad news as well. The city of Bakhmut, a key city along the Ukrainian front line in the east, is very, very near to Russian forces, approximately 3 miles away. Now, fortunately, the UDF is just west of the city, so should the worst case happen, it will not fall anywhere west of the city. Excuse me. So, it will, however, take many, many thousands of days, or hours, we don't know nowadays, for the Russians to take this city. As it is so heavily defended, people are calling it basically Alcatraz. Now, of course, with a military base, you want as high security as possible. 'Tis the case in the city of Bakhmut. Now, Bakhmut is very well defended, and it will take a very long time for the Russians to attack. Oh boy, that was a very devastating thing to say, as I have a very personal connection to the city of Bakhmut, as a church of mine has a missions camp in the city of Bakhmut, and should the city of Bakhmut fall, that will also include that church, unfortunately. So we need to pray, and we need to pray, and we need to pray that Ukraine can take and free this city. Now, we're at the point of the podcast where I'm going to give pretty much my own insight into a lot of what's going on. So, I mean, right now, I would say that the situation is at a standstill. It's not exactly favorable of Russia, and it's not exactly favorable of Ukraine. But we really need to look past the soldiers and leaders, and we need to look at the everyday lives of Russian and Ukrainian people alike. Now, if you go to Russia, even in big cities such as Moscow or St. Petersburg, the prices of groceries have times themselves by almost the 20s. Ladies and gentlemen, these are levels almost as high as the Weimar Republic in post-World War I Germany. Now, Russia is not in a good state right now because their people are having very high expenses for bread, and pretty much they can't buy food to eat. And without food to eat, they will starve. So the Russian people need to stop this war so that these sanctions will be released and their people can eat. Because I am very sure, as a citizen of the West, the Western people will refuse to lift these sanctions from Russia. Continuing now, we must also look at the Ukrainian people. Now, just picture
it's that little is something you got to clear out in the edit.
Your community, your city, the people you love are at dire risk of losing their lives and becoming slaves to a country that will see you only as a number. I want you to picture that right now, wherever you are. It does not seem very good, does it? Absolutely not. I don't think so. So we need to do everything we can, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, to support the people of Ukraine at this moment. Because, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, they're human beings too, just like you and just like me. No one needs to be fighting this war right now, and no one should be suffering. As a famous Albert Einstein once said, war is a very robust thing. In the end, everybody is a loser, as everyone is dead. And ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely true. Even for a Russian soldier,
I've never heard that
the
quote
invader,
before.
the
That's a good
so-called
one.
enemy, it is still a bad thing when they die, because they are human beings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am personally very anti-war, but the vigor and the strength and the resolve of the Ukrainian people has never been stronger. I pray each day that God will give them the strength and the encouragement to come through and to push to the end of this. But I pray every day also that Russia will come to their senses and stop this foolish and senseless war right as it stands. Now, there are some good signs that this war may start coming to an end. Not necessarily the beginning of the end, however, the end of the beginning. For instance, many nations across the West, such as the United States, Britain, and Sweden, have declared Russia a terrorist state for some of their horrific actions in the country of Ukraine. And there have been many peaceful organizations, such as the Red Cross and the UNESCO World Heritage Site, that have done many efforts to get Ukrainians and their precious belongings out of the country and into safety. Countries like Poland and Hungary and Slovakia and Romania and Moldova and even Belarus and Russians themselves are deciding to put aside their differences despite historical hates, despite historical backgrounds, and giving refugee and homes to Ukrainian people. Even here in America, here in Miami, where I am, there are Ukrainians who are taking refuge. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know anyone from Ukraine at this moment who has fled the war and is looking for safety, please do everything you can to make them feel welcome. This may not be their home, but this is where they are safe, and they must feel this way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it appears we're about the conclusion of our podcast, so let's go ahead and have a short word of prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank you for bringing forth the nation of Ukraine and the nation of Russia alike. I thank you that they are both filled with many people who love you and who have your best interest in mind, Lord. I pray that you will continue to keep these people safe, no matter what happens and no matter who is at war, Lord. I pray that you will bless them and that through you they will find their peace, Lord. I pray for us in the West, in safety, that you will give us the wisdom and the knowledge to help those in danger to be brought to safety and to be brought peace, Lord. I pray, Lord, for people such as Vladimir Putin and his allies and his soldiers, that you will give them the sanity of mind and the clarity to realize their sin and stop what they're doing. I pray, Lord, for people like Volodymyr Zelensky and the Ukrainian people, that you will give them peace and you will give them the wisdom and the knowledge to finish off this war strong and to serve you in the end of all things. And know that all things are made for such a time as this. It is in your holy and utmost righteous name I pray. Amen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it from me. And remember one thing, no matter what happens and no matter where it happens, God is always, was always, and will always be in control. Now,
Amen.
from me, have a great, beautiful, wonderful, blessed, many other Christian adjectives of the day, and Slava Ukraini. Goodbye.
All right, and so we made it to the end of the playlist. Got a football highlight video. Okay, so this time when they're in the huddle, that stuff you got to cut out. Also, notice the issue with the titling. It's not our proper format for the title. I went ahead and put the thumbnail that I made on this, but yeah, our sports highlight videos all need to have the thumbnail that I use, the thumbnail template I made. Yeah, all the downtime between the plays, it's not necessary in a highlight video. It's a big gain, so you know, that's a good highlight to include. It's just all the stuff in between we don't need. It should just be everyone's already lined up and it's 1 or 2 seconds before the ball is snapped. That really is an insane throw. He also was hit as he was making the throw. So on these highlight videos, it's not the fault of the person who made the video. It's just the way it was recorded. What I would do is zoom in on the places where the play is having the action. Because sometimes it's a little far. Like when they're down on the far end of the touchdown next to where the softball field is. It's a little far. And so I would zoom in so that when you're watching the highlight video, it's a little easier to see it. Yeah, get rid of all this stuff before each play. I guess now we're putting Somerset plays too. Some of these I don't think are really highlights. Like some of these I don't think belong in a highlight video. That one, like the crowd got hype. It was a big hit over there. There's a long third. It's like 3rd and 13. Let's see if they can get this conversion here. Big sack in the backfield. I guess that's redundant. There's no. That's the only kind of tackle for loss in the backfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, in exciting preseason volleyball action, your Plymouth Christian Patriot volleyball team went to 3.
That's a pretty wild scramble from Bradley. Yeah, overall, this highlight video just has too much downtime. Like right there, the play, like the clip just cut even without a play. And here we're having many jumps in the... I don't really know what's going on here. So each clip should just be a clean, the play starts, the play ends. And it should just be a collection of that. There shouldn't be cuts in between plays of like nothing happening. I've been saying Bradley. Is that Bradley at quarterback? I gotta look it up. Well, I don't think I'm gonna have time to. That was a huge play from the Patelis there. Patriots get the ball on a short field. Wow, look at the down marker and the chains. Like 2nd and 20 now. I guess they punted, pinned them deep. Okay, and it ends. Yeah, so if you're gonna do a highlight video, you gotta have that we know what the final result is. Well, anyway, guys, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Well, we did it. We made it to the end. I think our sanity is for the most part preserved. But anyway, hope you enjoyed hearing my feedback, seeing my live reactions, and that you really do try to improve week by week through little criticism and comments like this. I mean criticism in the literal sense of the word, not criticism like I'm demeaning what you're doing, because that's not what this is. But I hope that you can take the constructive comments and feedback to become a better producer of media, whether you made a podcast, whether you made a skit video, a highlight video, whatever. So thank you for watching. We will see you next time. And I'm gonna